debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will be governed by a set of ground rules. Our White House correspondent Greg Clugston in the debate city of Philadelphia takes a look at those guidelines.
Like the Biden-Trump debate in July, tonight's debate will not have an audience, and microphones will be turned off when it's not the candidate's turn to speak. Trump and Harris will have 2 minutes to answer questions and for rebuttals. They are not allowed to bring notes or props and cannot interact with campaign staff during the 2 commercial breaks. There won't be any opening statements, but the candidates will have 2 minutes to deliver closing remarks. Greg Clugston, Philadelphia.
And the ABC presidential debate to be simulcast live this evening on the Salem Radio Network. A tropical storm bulking up in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to become a hurricane before slamming into the Louisiana coast.
Louisiana and Mississippi are preparing for Francine, which is expected to make landfall in South Louisiana Wednesday afternoon. Hurricane specialist Brad Reinhardt is with the National Hurricane Center in Miami.
Our forecast is calling for it to make landfall as a Category 2 hurricane, with maximum sustained winds around 100 miles per hour.
Reinhardt says there's a hurricane warning from Sabine Pass eastward to Morgan City, Louisiana. He says much of Louisiana and Mississippi are expected to receive heavy rainfall, which could total 12 inches in some areas. I'm Donna Warder.
The U.S. now formally accusing Iran of supplying Russia with at least some of the short-range ballistic missiles that have been unleashed on Ukraine. On Wall Street this morning, ahead of the opening bell, stock futures have turned positive. Dow futures up 33 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 49 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. These days, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of the biggest expenses can be your car, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan. You could save thousands with one call to CarShield. Call 800-840-1546 now to see if you qualify. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Repairs for your engine, transmission, and more can become a thing of the past. Plus, call 800-840-1546 right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options. Call 800-840-1546 today and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Just call 800-840-1546 to see if your car qualifies. 800-840-1546. That's 800-840-1546. Again, 800-840-1546. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Google has lost its final legal challenge against the European Union penalty for giving its own shopping recommendations an illegal advantage over rivals in search results.
The European Union's Court of Justice upheld a lower court's decision, ending a long-running antitrust case that came with a huge fine. The court dismissed the company's appeal against the $2.7 billion penalty from the European Commission, the 27-nation bloc's top antitrust enforcer. The Commission's original decision in 2017 accused Google of unfairly directing visitors to its Google shopping service to the detriment of competitors.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. A hedge fund investor has purchased The Spectator, one of the world's oldest political magazines, $131 million after a months-long search for a new owner for the publication. The Spectator, established in 1828 in London, thought to be the oldest surviving current affairs magazine on the planet. Townhall.com. Federal charges filed against a couple of people accused of using a social media platform for malign purposes.
The Justice Department says 2 people motivated by white supremacist ideology have been arrested on charges that they used the social media messaging app Telegram to encourage hate crimes and acts of violence against minorities, government officials, and critical infrastructure. The defendants, identified as Dallas Humber and Matthew Allison, face 15 federal counts in the Eastern District of California, including charges that accuse them of soliciting hate crimes and the murder of federal officials and distributing bomb-making instructions. The indictment accuses the 2 of soliciting followers to attack perceived enemies of white people. I'm Norman Hall.
A leading Olympic sponsor, Panasonic, terminating its contract with the International Olympic Committee at year's end, Panasonic giving no reason for its decision. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Big night, of course, debate. Big presidential debate tonight. I know everyone's excited to check that out. Kind of like we got another Monday Night Football. You know, at least that's in my head. It kind of feels like, because I think of tonight's debate much like I think of I'm going to watch my football game on Sunday. I'm like, let me plan my food. You know, it's like I want to tailgate. Yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. You know, kind of the same mindset. It's like, oh, get ready. You ready for the game tonight? Ready for the debate tonight? I kind of the same vibe here. So, but yeah, so I imagine most of us are got that on our brain. We got to be home tonight to check out the debate and all that. So, but exciting there. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how this goes, you know, especially since, you know, everyone's talking this more likely to be the only debate, but you never know. But should be interesting to watch. And everyone will get your popcorn and get ready for an interesting evening here. So, but yeah, that's tonight. Of course, celebrity death news. James Earl Jones passed away yesterday, 93 years old. That's one of those ones that I don't know, is it just me or did he just seem timeless? I mean, he's one of the most iconic voice actors of all time, and, you know, I mean, the voice of Darth Vader, and, you know, he's been in so many other great movies and TV shows and things, but I mean, it's I don't know, he just seems like one of those guys that you just think's going to be with you forever, you know? I mean, he's 93, and I guess it probably depends on certain people's age. If you're someone around my age, you know, you grew up as a kid, you know, watching Star Wars, and, you know, James Earl Jones has kind of been with you your whole life, you know, Mustafa, you know, the Field of Dreams, you know, so many movies and things that guy's done. Even in more recent years, Big Bang Theory. He was on an episode of Big Bang Theory. I'm sure it's probably about 8-10 years ago now, but they show it in, you know, in reruns on, you know, you can pretty much turn on a TV any time of the day, and somewhere on there, Big Bang Theory's running. But there's an episode where he's in there, and he's funny in that one too, where Sheldon wants to start his own Comic-Con because they couldn't get into San Diego Comic-Con, and so he finds out that James Earl Jones is eating at his favorite restaurant and stalks him, basically. And it turns out James Earl Jones is a cool guy, and he ends up spending the night with him, going to like a strip club, and I think they went to Mexico, and they're like in a steam together. And James Earl Jones is spending his whole time pranking Carrie Fisher. It's a good episode, but yeah, James Earl Jones was Mufasa. Yeah, but yeah, all those roles. It just seems like I just kind of thought he'd be here forever, you know. And so that one's a big one. I think a lot of people were kind of surprised by the fact that James Earl Jones passed away. But yeah, it was just, you know, when I heard it, I was like, oh man, yeah, that one kind of hit me for a minute, and now it's like, no more James Earl Jones. Big one. What's Star Wars going to do? Are they going to do any more Star Wars? I mean, who are you going to get to do with Darth Vader? Maybe there's enough canon of whatever VR or CGI or something out there, virtual reality, that they can, maybe use James Earl Jones for Darth Vader for years to come. But I ain't going to lie. I mean, it's going to be hard to find. And I'm sure there's people that can do the voice. I mean, it's Darth Vader. I mean, how many Optimus Primes are out there and all those, John Wayne types, So I think, but I don't know. It's not going to be right. If there's any more Darth Vader, and it's not James Earl Jones, but probably never know difference. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to replay an interview this hour. We had John and Crystal Noble join us from Roswell Seed yesterday. Give us an update what's happening there. A little bit of marriage therapy as always, too. So we'll play that interview for you here in just a bit. Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell will join us in the 8 o'clock hour, give us an update what's going on at ENMUR. And then artist Greg Birch will join us back with us in the 9 o'clock hour. He's got a few art pieces going in various places around the state that he wants to share with the folks here. And so we'll do that in the 9 o'clock hour. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the newses of the local, national variety, Wall Street Business Update, your Roswell Livestock Report recap with Smiley Wooten as well, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Did I say Mustafa? I meant Moose. Yeah, sorry. I didn't know. I saw Sean texted me. Wasn't that the Will Ferrell's character in Austin Powers, Mustafa? I think it was. Now that I think about it. Anyway, it's been a minute. Give me a break. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched all of Lion King. People are going to look at me like, I was a grown man when that came out. I didn't have kids. I think I've seen parts of it, over the years, but I've never sat down and actually watched Lion King from start to finish because I'm a grown man and I have no kids. That's why. All right, it is 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Kind of in the middle, just 90s, midnight, it's nothing exciting, but nothing bad either.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in the upper 80s for the afternoon high today for Artesia and Carlsbad. A little bit warmer for Roswell. We'll be in the low 90s. Should be sunny all day. Might be a little bit breezy. We have dry air in place. Clear for the overnight hours. Our lows near 60. Low to mid 90s for the afternoon high on Wednesday, and sunny. We'll be in the mid 90s on Thursday. Upper 90s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 59 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 58%. Sorry about that. Winds currently out of the south at 3 miles per hour. Expect a high of 93 today under sunny skies. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, skies will be clear. Expect an overnight low of 59 degrees. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. For you Wednesday, sunny, high of 93. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Told you. Kind of middling, nothing. We do get a little warmer as the week progresses, though. By Thursday, we're going to be in the upper 90s, 96 for a high on Thursday with sunny skies, south winds 5 to 15. Friday, 99 for a high. Yeah, we're going to be pushing 100 on Friday under sunny skies. Probably going to make a little warm out at the Wool Bowl Friday night. They are saying overnight low is 66, so it'd probably be pleasant by about halftime. Mostly sunny for Saturday, 95 for a high there. Sunny on Sunday as well with a high of 92. They did tack on a 20% chance at some afternoon showers on Sunday. We'll see how that shapes up. And then 91 and sunny Monday of next week. So, yeah, Friday looks like going to be the hot day where we could get near 100. We'll see. All right, it is 7:14. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report recap with Smiley Wooten, your LaGrone and Ballard remembrance for today as well. And then on the other side, we're going to play our interview with John and Crystal Noble from Roswell Seed. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning. This is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 1,350 head of cattle sold on Monday on an uneven market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves sold steady to 10 lower. Feeder cattle steady to 8 lower. Packer cows and bulls $3 to $5 higher. 3 to 400 pound steers $317, $378. 3 to 400 pound heifers $267, $352. 4 to 500 pound steers $275, $317. 4 to 500 pound heifers $246, $267. 5 to 600 pound steers, $242, $275. 5 to 600 pound heifers, $234, $246. 6 700 pound steers, $230, $242. 6 700 pound heifers, $222, $234. 7 800 pound steers, $205, $230. 7 800 pound heifers, $2, $222. Packer cows, $130, $142. Canner and cutter cows, $118, $125. Packer bulls, $158, $166. Feeder bulls, $140, $150. The top half of the cow-calf pairs, $2,000 to $2,600 and $2,650 per pair. Top half the bred cows, $1,600 to $2,200 per head. We do appreciate the business, and we'll talk to you next Monday morning. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory and LaGrone Funeral Chapel have been celebrating life for over 90 years. Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory celebrates and remembers Marilyn Louise Arnez passed away Wednesday, August 28th. There are no services scheduled at this time. Kay Armstrong passed away Wednesday, August 28th. No services are scheduled at this time. And Jason Bethany passed away on Friday, August 30th. There are no services scheduled at this time. LaGrone Funeral Chapel celebrates and remembers Virginia Catherine Cameron, who passed away on Friday, August 30th. Services will be Friday, September 6th at 1 p.m. at LaGrone Funeral Chapel, with interment following the service at South Park Cemetery. This has been today's remembrance, brought to you by Ballard Funeral Home and Crematory and LaGrone Funeral Chapel.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
So your trees are turning yellow. You scratch your head and think to yourself, what would Jim Gill do?
This is Shirley from Roswell Seed. If Jim were here, he'd tell you all about something he called monkey blood. It's a powder that turns a deep red when you mix it with water. You pour it on the ground under your tree's drip line, and in a few weeks, they'll be healthy and green once again.
So when things aren't green, just ask yourself, what would Jim Gill do? Then head down to Roswell Seed Company and find out.
We teach our kids to say please and thank you to total strangers. But we get so familiar in our marriages and families, we stop being polite to each other. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and my wife, Miss Julie Smotherman, for The Joy of Marriage.
In the love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13, it says that love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. We emphasize being polite to each other in our family, which promotes an attitude of respect and brings peace in our home. Remember your manners with the person you love the most. Appreciate the things they do for you and let them know.
Being polite to each other can help you avoid conflict. Let's be polite to strangers, but let's not give our best to the people we don't live with. Let's give our best to each other.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
What? My trade's gotta be worth more than this! Hey, Roswell and surrounding areas, don't get hit hard by low trade offers. Right now, the all-new Roswell Ford needs your trade. That means you'll get top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease, Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR or no payments till 2025. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand financed on select models. No payments till 2025. Subject to lender approval through Ford Credit. Offers not combined.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning is John and Crystal Noble from Roswell Seed. Good morning, guys.
Morning. Morning, Roswell.
I just had, you ever watch those T-Mobile commercials with the two guys in the suits acting all goofy and they tell them the stuff? I just had that moment, you guys are just like the two from the T-Mobile commercial.
Well, the chair kept sinking. I was just I was watching the mic just kind of go past my face, and I'm like, well, this is going to be an interesting day. And she's all like, here, take this chair. So then I was all like, yeah, it works great.
No breaky chairs.
Probably break the wheel and just fall over.
That'd be my luck.
Yeah, this goes back.
Yeah, but see, you almost did it.
Yeah, that was cool.
We catch that one on camera.
Yeah. It's a Monday.
Yeah. It is Monday, but of course, for folks that have not tuned in, of course, John and Crystal Nova join us time to time, and we just talk. Roswell Seed talk to you generally what's going on this time of year, how burnt your grass is, or how time to do this, time to do that. And
time to time.
Tis the season. Anytime weather changes, it's time to do a lot of that.
It is. And the weather has changed. I don't know. It's just like last year. So maybe we might get a winter this time. Who knows? We need one. We need some snow bad.
Yeah.
We need cold.
We'll take the moisture.
Any moisture.
We need to get below freezing and stay below freezing for a little while, freeze out some of this crap.
Yeah. Well, usually, of course, Jim Gill used to always kind of predict, he'd tell you, when he could almost spot, I could tell you, after you look for this, that the first frost is coming right after that. He was pretty. Every year, usually in that, end of October, right first part of November time frames, usually when you start talking about they were seeing that kind of.
I remember when the first frost happened before Halloween, and we actually had snow on Halloween.
Oh, I know. Every once in a while we get a weird one, but usually it usually waits till after Halloween for our first frost, but not always.
Remember when they made the first wheel too?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I walked backwards in the snow for 4 miles uphill.
Uphill both ways.
That's right. Yeah.
And we liked it.
Yeah.
And I had a bag lunch.
That's right.
I had a lunch pail.
Yeah. It's funny how our parents used to do that to us. And now we're just doing the exact same thing to our kids and younger
I
folks.
laugh because I didn't hear it from my dad. I heard it from my grandma.
Yeah.
And then my dad started to say it. My grandma told him to shut up because it wasn't true.
You don't count for him.
Yeah. She goes, shut up. You didn't walk in no snow.
I drove you to the bus stop. Shut up.
Yeah, I had a little, I had a Scooby-Doo lunch pail with the Scooby-Doo thermos.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple because I was not good at keeping things. And I had the Dukes of Hazzard one was probably my favorite.
I didn't get that one.
If I took care of that thing might be worth money now.
Yeah, I had an Evil Knievel one.
I had the Dukes of Hazzard one with the jumping. It was literally the generally jumping over something.
Yeah.
And then there was in the foreground, Daisy and Bo and Luke kind of them. I think Uncle Jesse, they're all kind of four of them by the side there.
Standing there.
Of course, needing more Daisy and less others.
Yeah.
But yes.
But I mean, you'd be surprised. Those things took a beating. I mean, at least I know with me.
Oh, yeah.
Because you didn't put them in your backpack. Sure. You strapped them to the outside of your backpack. And then that got slammed in the doors, walls. Somebody else, that.
And usually lose the thermos about a month into it. So
not the thermos,
or the cup. Yeah, the cup or the top.
It was ruined. After that, it was just ruined. It's no, that's it. It's ruined. I need a new one. You know?
And they always had that one kid that had tomato soup in there.
Yeah,
that one kid that had the tomato. Yeah,
why?
Most of us had Kool-Aid or icy or whatever.
Yeah,
no.
Wintertime it was cocoa. Why tomato soup?
Yeah. Now I'm like, dude, I'd love a thermos of tomato soup.
Yeah.
Every time.
He's like, wait a minute.
No grilled cheese and tomato soup in there. That's a lunch there.
Yeah. Tried to cram as much as you could in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom let me pack my lunch one time.
Yeah.
That was it. And I mean, it's when you're pushing on it with your knee to be able to just clip that little buckle that could only hold 2 pounds of pressure, but there was 45 pounds. This stuff stashed in there. That's it. Got to school, opened it up. Yeah, everything was smashed, crushed. Everything was but I packed it. I did it myself.
That's right. The peanut butter jelly sandwich is like a crepe at this point. But
looks like a Triscuit.
The original.
Yeah, exactly. or field trips.
Yeah.
And then when field trips, like Mom would let you have a Coke, and then you'd wrap it in aluminum foil or the high-speed drink box to keep it kind of cold by lunchtime.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Aluminum foil. That was the official wrapper of soda drinks on field trips.
It was the original koozie.
I remember that. We didn't have koozies.
I said it was the original.
Oh, the
Yeah, it
original
was the
koozies.
original
Yeah.
koozies, aluminum foil.
Yeah, we didn't have koozies.
No.
Some of the parents, they were cool. They put like ice in a Ziploc bag and put it in there, and then stuff like that. Yeah, we ain't gonna waste good ice on you.
Yeah, they were nice enough to put it in foil, and that's about as good as you got.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
With tape on it, just to make it even harder to get off.
And it was only field trips. Like, never other time.
No.
So it was only the field trip you get the.
Yeah,
you're
it's
going
like
to the farm or whatever.
Yeah, we're traveling far away. I mean, you still took lunch at the same time, so I never did.
Yeah, but you're going to eat in a museum or something instead, and so it's different.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Give a bunch of kids foil at a museum.
Different time.
Yeah. Parents were more daring back then.
That's right.
They didn't care.
But
they didn't have fines like they do now.
Oh yeah. It just to be honest, as I got a little older, I was lucky to find $1 sitting on the table for lunch, and you know what I mean? Because here's $1, go get your lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you get older.
Well, that's bad. That dates us. I mean, $1 bought you lunch.
Yeah, and to be honest, if I remember right, I feel like lunch was.
Lunch.
I feel like the lunch was 90 cents.
Yeah, I think it was. I think
it wasn't even a full $1,
yeah.
but you always left you $1.
$1. Yeah.
I think ours was 30 cents unless we wanted a salad.
You got salad?
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't get cool stuff like that.
Well, in high school we had like the cafeteria line, which was like your yellow tray with the school pizza and all that. But then they had like an a la carte thing that you could go up to, and you could get like that cheesesteak, the school cheesesteak of which we all had at one time with the and it had those, or you could buy like an apple or like chips, or maybe like salad in a little cup of salad or something.
We had fruit cups or salads.
Yeah. Oh, and then those milks, of course.
And then
the little milk
pint milks.
But
we get
ours was 30 cents for just a regular tray lunch, and then if you wanted a salad, it was more.
No, they charged like 90 cents, and I think by the time I graduated, it was like $1.10.
Yeah,
maybe. But
we had open campus.
I was.
We did.
Where I was
did at one point.
High school.
Until people kept going to Burger King.
Well,
and
that's just it.
fights.
We didn't, but we used to sneak out. Like in high school, my friend was the class president, but didn't have a car, and so I was never in enough activities I'd try to apply for a parking permit, and they tell me no. So I had to drive my friend's sister to work to school every day. In exchange for that, I got his parking permit.
Oh, okay.
And he parked on the teacher's side because he was student government. And they never monitored the teacher side. So every day for lunch, I was the guy that we drove us to McDonald's. We had like 28 minutes to get from McDonald's here to get to and we went to lunch at like 10:30 in the morning. So they were still serving like breakfast. And this was back when they had, remember the steak biscuits back in the day? Yeah, I used to get, that was my go-to, the 99-cent steak biscuit. Yeah.
We had open campus, and it's funny because you're talking about parking permits and stuff. We didn't have any of that. So we were. I come from a real rural.
It is back in Maryland,
yeah. So I mean, but what was funny was a friend of mine was showing me the picture. He had taken a picture of the parking lot for something. I forgot what it was for. It was going to be for something. But all of our trucks, and they all had rifles or shotguns in the back.
Oh yeah.
Back then on school grounds, it's like it's like, well, nobody thought it. I mean, you had a shotgun because. Well, we weren't legally allowed to be able to have a pistol, but when you're walking ditch line and stuff like that, you're shooting rattlesnakes.
Yeah, there's just a gun in the truck. Yeah, it's just part of the.
It's either
it's like a tool, just like any other. There's a thing to change your tire in there too.
Yeah. I mean, you either had a 22 or you had like a 410 or something like that.
Yeah. It's kind of it's different times.
Yeah.
And now, granted, true, and that's rural here. Look, quite frankly, I grew up in D.C., Maryland area. They ain't good old boys with pickup trucks with gun racks in the back. It just isn't.
Dripping gas.
Yeah.
All the time dripping gas.
We're all driving Ford Escorts with those big windshield wiper blade weights on them, and the pink door those little door edges.
Oh, the door edges
all that
and
hot
stuff. Yeah.
garbage, or the curb feelers. Like
So I
neon green or hot pink.
I was in Central California. Yeah. So when I was in high school, naturally we always had a truck because farm stuff. Yeah. But then it was Volkswagens. Everybody had a Bug, and we would do all our own customization and stuff. And
my buddy had a Bug, and that was his first car.
Yeah,
this was an older, like a newer one. Like his was like a 74.
74,
which is late for a Beetle.
For Beetle. Yeah, we wanted 68, 69.
Yeah.
That was
his was like a 74 or something.
And everybody would be like, why did you guys drive Volkswagen? It's like, well, the parts were real easy to steal. Yeah. I mean, it took 4 guys to skateboard and a 10mm wrench to get a motor out.
Yeah, I mean, everything's so basic. I mean, they don't have air conditioning. The heat, you have to open a vent from the engine to get heat. I mean, they're bare bones cars.
Oh, yeah.
They're really basic cars.
And they go for
even
a long
for the
ways.
day, back
on
in the
gas,
day.
I mean,
if it had a radio, that was high tech. Man.
Oh, yeah. And if a plane went overhead, you heard what they were saying,
Yeah. Matter of fact, my buddy, he had his 74, but he put, which was the thing of the time, the Alpine $500 stereo with the removable face and all that garbage.
Yeah, that was to keep it from being stolen.
Right, the latest tech of the day.
Yeah. People didn't realize, though, back in the day, if you stole enough nameplates, one would fit that.
I'm about to say, it's like garage door openers. You run around the neighborhood clicking enough, you're going to get in a garage.
It's eventually going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Memory lane. That was a good time, though. I mean, it was a lot freer back then in the 70s and 80s,
Well, that's just it. It was high school, man. I mean, my first car was a big beater, man, and that's just what we did. You go and you worked, and you took pride. You spend all day shining this car that's worth probably $300 if you sold it in a market anywhere.
Yeah.
It was hot garbage.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember the worst vehicle I ever bought when I got sent back from Okinawa, and I was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune. And of course, we're just so we went on. They used to have like Craigslist, what it really was. It was
right. The predating.
Yeah. So we bought
the lemon lot at the base is usually
basically. Yeah. It was
a lemon lot.
74 Pinto, 2-door Pinto.
My mother. She owned 3 Pintos in the course of my life. The only reason she stopped getting Pintos because they stopped making Pintos.
Yeah, they stopped making it because they were bombs.
And she flipped her vehicle, she flipped to the Ford Tempo, which is the Pinto in a different form.
Yeah. I remember when me and my buddies, we went in Haas. We each had $250. Mm-hmm. So we bought this Pinto for $500. So the guy gave us a Pinto and a case of oil. Because it drained out oil that quickly.
And a fire extinguisher, probably.
We were At best, we had maybe a wet towel in there, in case you caught
Pintos,
a fire.
Fieros, there's a few models that were known to burst into flames.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Damn.
Good times.
Yeah. Can't do that now.
No, not anymore. Different times.
Aquifer.
Oh, yeah.
High water bill.
Oh, the high water bills. Yeah. Oh, yeah. High water bills.
Well, and in all fairness there, and I know... please, this Thursday is City Council meeting, and they are going to be addressing this ordinance about the water and all that. So for folks that are, and like you, and I'm sure you've probably seen quite a few customers that have come in watering their lawns, and now their water bills, are 500% higher than the previous month. So I imagine you're probably seeing a lot of that at Roswell City.
We are, and we still do have the fertilizer, and it seems to be working out real well. Got a lot of people coming in now telling us, hey, we've been cutting back on the waters and things like that, which is cool. But yeah,
one of the lawn guys said he hadn't watered his yard in a week.
Wow.
And it was still
green.
Wow, so this stuff's really insulating that soil and keeping that moisture in.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out for our area how often you're supposed to put this down. Okay. I'm guessing you have to put this down about every 100 days. Because generally that's kind of like the industry norm.
I would imagine the results vary too based on the yard. Like if you're in a direct sunlight yard, that's got to dry out quicker than if you've got some coverage. I
would think. Yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking.
If the sun's beating on it directly all day, that's got to take a beating harder than if you get some shade.
Because the encapsulation of it, it says it's biodegradable and it goes away. So that's why we're trying to figure out like a time span of the grass is staying green and stuff like that. Sure. But how often do you apply
how long will it do that before it starts losing its effectiveness and you need to reapply?
And it always happens. You're going to be gone when it happens.
It's never a convenient moment.
You're going to be gone. You saved up this whole entire time for this trip, take off, come back, and your yard's dead.
Right.
So we're trying to figure, get people's input of what's going on.
Again, you're trying to get a enough pool of data to get good information, and so it's still kind of in a trial and error stage.
Oh,
for guys.
definitely.
But But the good news is the people that have tried it and are testing it are seeing good results.
Yeah, they're seeing very, very good results.
The big question mark now is how long will those be, or is this something we got to do every month? Is this something we got to do once a year? What are we talking?
Yeah, I don't monthly. I'm like I said, I'm leaning more towards about 100 days.
Okay,
I think that's going to be
every 3
around.
months, maybe.
Yeah, about every 3 months.
Once a
I think
season,
it's gonna
maybe.
be right. So I mean, right now you're going off the backside of it. So generally, and we get this all the time. Hey, how often should I water? Right now, I would probably say you're watering maybe once every 2 days for fescue. Once every 3 to 4.
It depends on the type of grass too.
Yeah.
If it's your Bermudas and stuff, you still water, but not as much as some of these others.
Yeah.
Because you'll actually do more harm than good.
Yeah, so fescue you water way more than Bermuda. Any of your rye, same thing with the fescue, like in the fescue family. But your Bermuda, you're watering Bermuda like once every other day. Okay. Right now, the evenings have been so cool. Because everybody's like, well, it's going to be 90 today. Well, yeah, but it was 60 last night.
Right.
So temperature cools faster than it heats. So
it's going to
there
retain that moisture better.
And your ground temperatures are coming down a lot faster than most people say.
But like you would during the summer, don't pick the hottest part of the day to start watering your lawn. Do it in the morning, do it at night, during the evening when the moisture has a chance to set as opposed to evaporate as soon as it hits the ground.
And right now, just kind of watch everything. I mean, naturally, with the water, bill issue, that's pretty bad for the people in the city. Sorry for y'all.
Yeah, you guys are out in the county. It's
we're out in the county, so we don't have to. It hasn't.
I don't have a yard, so it's not.
It
really
hasn't
an issue,
hit that far.
Well, we have a yard. We just have Brenda water, which didn't have that increase.
Yeah, had the increase.
It had a little bit of an increase, but not that bad.
Yeah,
not.
Well, the city's trying to fix problems that were long.
Way overdue.
And that is understandable.
Sure.
But
you
nobody
can't do it all at once.
Nobody can sustain that amount of a bill every month. You have to work 5 jobs.
Yeah, you can't hit people with your bill's $40 a month, and the next month is $400.
Yeah.
Well, and just like the nonprofits, look what they're doing to the nonprofits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went from 400 to 800, and we run on donations.
And so now everything that you're using to help your cause is now going to take care of facilities and money that cannot be used to help an animal now, basically.
Yeah, they're going about it the wrong way.
Well, Thursday night is your night to listen in. If you want to speak, they always get there early, get on the list to speak. But please, this is how you want government fixed.
Yeah.
You go to the meetings and don't sit on Facebook and tell everybody how mad you are. That's not going to do any good except make your friends mad. Get to the meeting, tell the people that are actually that have a say in what's going on here, and tell them how you think.
Yeah,
that's what this is
definitely. For. And this isn't something that just all of a sudden popped up.
Sure.
I mean, this has been years of neglect. I mean, everybody's going after Tim, and it's not his fault per se. I mean, this has been back, multiple mayors.
Well,
but if they want to go after somebody, go after the people that sit on the city council, because their butts have been there through most of all of these.
Yeah.
So that's on them. You just can't pin it. He's just the lead guy, so they're going to pin it on him.
Well, yeah, it's always been the mayor. The mayor,
the
lightning
mayor does,
rod. The mayor's lightning rod.
The
good, the bad, and the ugly. They're first to take the hit for that.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of politics, but
and at the end of the day, this isn't like when we're talking about our city and our county. This isn't national level. This ain't Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
This is people that you live with, that you work with, that you went to church with, that all this stuff. And at the end of the day, we're trying to fix a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, this makes me mad. I don't like the water thing. But to go after personal vendettas and attack, it's like, look, they've got a problem to fix. We don't know all the details here. Go to the meeting, hear the details, hear what's going on, and you can understand what they're trying to do while at the same time, because they can come out and say, yes, we're going to put our water bills back to normal, but it doesn't still fix the problem they're trying to have.
Right.
There's a money shortfall. The infrastructure costs way more than the money they're generating to bring in right now, and you got to fix that.
Yeah.
So we got to fix that one way or the other. So I get it. You're mad that your water bill is 400% higher, but it doesn't change the fact that they still got to fix this some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
so,
and they need to look at more of the root cause. I mean, like I said, you got all these city council members. They're they've been through. It's just kind of like I'll open up a can of worms right now because it's Monday. I don't care. But you're looking at like the presidential stuff right now. Oh, well, we're going to fix this and we're going to do this. You haven't done it yet. You've been in office for 4 years. Nothing's. It's the same thing with the city council. Oh, we're going to fix. Well, these people have been in there this whole entire time, and nothing's been fixed.
Well, that's the discussions we're going to have Thursday night. And that's the place to do it.
Yeah, people in the city need to start looking at the chairs behind the lightning rod, and start looking. Well, what are you guys been doing?
Absolutely.
What So hopefully the Roswell will speak out and they'll have a good turnout. And
it's a city thing. This goes. It's city council, city manager, the committees in which that feed the information to our various departments are giving these people the this is what we recommend and how do you do it. So it's more than one person. This is something the city needs to address and take care of. And regardless, whether we end up paying $400 a month water bills or not, it doesn't make the problem go away.
Right.
So that's the part we got to, yes, I get it. I'm mad too. But you know what? At some point, we are going to have to bite the bullet. There will be an increase. You've been grossly undercharged for water for so many years and taking advantage. And that's, but now we got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
And that's, we don't want to pay the piper at once. That's the thing. We got to figure it. And that's what we got to figure out. There's been a series of things that have happened long before people, that are making decisions today made those decisions. And now we're sometimes it worked well, sometimes it doesn't. And now we're dealing with the doesn't.
Yeah. In the county, we'll just hang him.
Yeah. And I get it. And I get you're mad and all this, but sitting on Facebook and doing all it is not solving a thing. You're just creating more problems than good.
That's not how you get your voice heard.
Quite frankly, people lie on Facebook. Have you heard? They do lie. Yeah. They will embellish stories to make their thing sound like, and there's some people that are saying stuff on there that I'm telling you right now they're lying.
Really?
I can tell you right now they're lying just to get a reaction.
Yep. I wouldn't. That doesn't put it past
I'm not saying,
me,
I'm just saying there are people that do that.
Yeah.
It's shocking, Yeah. They lie on social media? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the meme that pops up, goodbye Morgan Freeman, R.I.P. People just sit around and make up crap just to cause problems.
Well, yeah. It's funny. But anyway, you just got to, I know I got way off topic.
Yeah, it's all.
So anyway, back to seed stuff.
It says, so the lawn fertilizer that we have, we're not recommending that you put around like your pecan trees. We still have the pecan tree fertilizer. Okay. And yes, now is the time to start fertilizing pecan trees. So come in.
As Jim would say, if you want your nuts to be big, fertilize your tree.
Here we go again with the nuts. That commercial from 5 years ago, oh my gosh, that started it all. It started, and you know who caught the brunt of it? Me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a lady call up after that commercial aired, and she read me the riot act. I mean, I thought you were good Christians, and I can't believe it. I was like, lady, it's a commercial. It's not even me. Yeah. Come down here and yell at the old man.
Just joke.
I just work here.
Yeah.
Oh, she ripped me, and everybody, so how's your nuts? And I'm all like, oh, here we go. It's just like the Yes Dear one that he did, about the the geraniums, for like 3 months with Yes Dear. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah.
That is the blessing and the curse of having things get popular. Just is.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the Clara Peller lady. She probably heard "Where's the Beef?"
Yeah, all the time.
So many times in her life before she finally passed.
Well, before everybody just kind of, because Roswell Seed has always, been in the town and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Well, when I started, things kind of got a little, I'll just say rowdy. And so then we started getting labeled them Roswell Seed Boys. He goes, oh yeah, he's part of them Roswell Seed Boys. Because there was a couple of incidents that had happened, and there's a couple of fights in the alley, and some people didn't end up real well, and stuff. But then we would also
being dudes.
Yeah, we would also go out in the community, and we would look at yards or look at trees and
Absolutely.
stuff. And so we, them Roswell Seed Boys, and it's just like that was our label. It was like we were like the regulators, but it was just kind of funny how we've kind of evolved now that we're older and it takes a little time to heal.
Right.
But the Roswell Seed Boys, it still kind of sticks, and some people still call us that. But
he is the official old man of Roswell Seed.
But now they smell like Flexol.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like
now they smell like Ben Gay.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, gotta load that mentholatum.
That's right.
He is officially the old man at the office at Roswell Seed.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And it just, all of a sudden, one day it's there.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're the goofball, and then one day you're like, oh, crap, I'm the senior guy. What happened?
Well, I got responsibility. I don't want responsibilities now, because somebody will come in and be like, "Hey, you remember that time when we were in the back and you were fighting those 3 guys?" And I'm like, "You can't say that out loud. These new guys." And so it's like,
different time.
Yeah, different time. That was I got hit in the head too many times by my wife. I don't remember that no more. Yeah.
That's right.
What you do, you beat me. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna announce it over the
We
radio.
are the last generation that did things before the internet outed everybody.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we had the internet back in our day?
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, our parents would have been thrown in prison.
Yeah.
We're
like that final generation of people that our actions were not recorded because there was no social media.
No,
We were the unsupervised.
Make a bicycle ramp out of a 2x4 and a couple of cinder blocks. I bet you I could jump over that car.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
And you always had the one friend. Yeah, you could do it. Yeah. I have faith in you.
And you
The
listen
whole
to
My Beer
one
generation came long before the internet.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And the sad part about it was, even as teenagers, we were saying, "Hold my beer."
Absolutely. Yep.
So if everybody, the whole pecan trees or trees just in general, now's the best time to go ahead and start putting the fertilizer down on them. For the people that have Bermuda lawns, it's not recommended, but if you want, get some fertilizer down on your Bermuda lawn before it goes into dormancy.
Okay. What time does it start turning brown?
Right around pretty soon.
Right about your end of September time
Yeah,
frame?
because we're still in the 80s, 90s ish during the day, but basically, kind of Bermuda goes off of day length and then heat.
Gotcha.
So the
Our
heat's
days are
dropping.
getting
When it starts
shorter.
getting cooler quick, then that Bermuda
Yeah.
starts browning up. And since we're now been in the 80s and 90s instead of 105s,
Yeah.
we're starting to see the thing, it's about time to go to bed for the winter here.
Yeah. So everybody that is like their fescue lawn is taking a hit throughout the summer. You're probably starting about this week. You can go ahead and do your reseeding and stuff like that. It's cool enough. If you plan on planting everything down around trees, I would wait just until the leaves fall.
Okay.
The seed will germinate a lot better.
Okay. And a lot of times you can, you're supposed to rake your leaves and stuff, but that's good mulch. That's good. That's good for, your gardens and stuff. If you want to, don't just bag all that stuff up and throw it away or whatever.
Yeah,
if
throw
you
it
want
over
to
top.
compost it or whatever, there's some if you got the space to do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Some people don't.
Yeah. And let's see what else we got.
We're gonna start having the fall bulbs coming in.
They're already in.
Oh, they're already in.
They're already in. We haven't put them out yet, but they're already in.
So come by, start looking for your fall bulbs.
Yeah,
they'll
fall.
be coming up on the shelf here next couple days.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. I have garlic coming in soon. Everybody that's been asking for garlic, that's going to be
Onion
coming
sets.
in. Onion sets will be coming in pretty soon.
Those are fall planting vegetables.
So
Your
start looking
leafy,
at
greeny
those.
stuff is better in the cool months.
Yeah.
Lettuce,
So anybody
spinach.
that's trying to plant something, all of your
Do a lot of root
spinaches,
vegetables
lettuces.
go down in the fall here like that, like your onions and potatoes?
Yeah,
and things like that.
Yeah, potatoes. Yeah, generally that's more of an early spring as potatoes,
Okay,
but
okay.
you're like kale and lettuces and things of that
Anything
nature.
leafy
sure,
definitely is a
more or
fall
less.
plant.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a fall plant.
Well, I just know like onions and stuff. I didn't know if those did better. Like you said, some onions.
Yeah.
But other root vegetables, not so much.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got coming up. Not petunias. Pansies. We got pansies in. Those have been planted. They should be ready probably in about another month. I'm
Okay.
guessing. I haven't been back there to the greenhouses only because it's dangerous when you walk back there with Kent. But he's got his own little like drinky linky lab back there. He's like a mad scientist.
He's all back there doing science stuff.
Yeah. So those are
You
getting
got a
all
white
ready to
lab
go.
coat in my head each.
No, believe it or not,
He
I do.
does.
I
you?
got yeah. It was the
Christmas gift.
Yeah,
from Jim
it
Gill.
was my final gift from Dad.
Ah.
So he got me a know-it-all lab coat. I don't know what all it says on it. It says United States Marine Corps honey beekeeper extraordinaire, seed expert,
Nice.
crop analysis, something. I don't know. There's
And it
all
says
kinds
just
of
ask John.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's
I was all
cool.
like, that was a good one.
That is cool.
Yeah. But that's getting close to pretty much about everything. Honey, if you guys are asking about honey, we'll be stripping the hives pretty soon. So
Okay.
we will have honey towards the end of September.
And that'll be
I'll
it for the
text-
season after
That's
that.
it.
I'll
Yeah.
text Mike when we officially strip the honey, so that
Excellent.
way he can say, "Go to Roswell Seed."
Yeah.
Get your honey on and
Yeah.
get your winter supply for
Yeah.
the season here.
I know. Hopefully everything. We've been getting a little bit of rain, so hoping that the wildflowers are still out and the bees are still doing.
Good news is whatever you don't use, save, because honey never, ever, ever goes bad.
Never.
No.
You can
as long as you don't mix it with anything.
Yeah.
They found honey in King Tut's tomb that was edible.
Yeah.
So
honey's good to go. Just you might get some of the crusty stuff off of it, but that honey's just fine. So if you still have some, hold on to it. Don't ever throw that honey away.
Yeah, and if you got questions about wanting to be a beekeeper and stuff, come in and talk to us. We'll give you the skinny on it.
Absolutely.
It's not cheap starting out, that's for sure. But
it's not cheap, period.
But once you get the bug, so to speak, pardon the pun, it's fun and kind of probably addictive a little bit.
Oh yeah,
it is
get
because
really
you go 2 to 10 and 10 to 50, and then you have a full-time job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and you get invested in the progress, and day to day you're seeing what's going on, and ooh, we got more jars, more. Look at the combs. We're gonna have a good
if we
batch.
were able to check our hives every day, bees would actually like us.
Yeah, jeez, that's true. Yeah, we don't have the time, unfortunately, to
every single day.
Yeah, every single day. But we do. We have beekeepers that go out every day. They go out, and their bees are completely, totally fine. Our bees are not. They're mean. Yeah. And everybody, they're African. No, they're not Africanized. They're just pissed.
They're just
sorry
in a bad mood.
They know what we're about to do, and they're not having it.
98% of the hive is female, so there you go.
You always wonder, like if you put certain types of flowers around, does that make the mood better?
No.
Or something?
No, not really.
Types of plant life that they gravitate towards more.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's no like catnip for bees.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, you have a new set of bees every 38 days.
Gotcha.
Except a queen.
Right, the queen stays, but as the hive dies out, the new ones come in to serve the queen.
Yeah.
So a bee goes through a entire, basically like boot camp. It's born. It has a job for like 4 days, and then it develops its wings, and then it has another job for this amount of time, and then like every 4 to 5 days it changes jobs, and then the end job is flying out and bringing nectar, pollen, or water, and then on its final flight it will not return.
Oh, okay.
38 days after it was hatched.
We watched this whole little video on it of like Bonnie the bee.
I read the book.
Something.
Sounds like sad, like that My Octopus story thing on. You watch that and you're all bummed at the end. It feels like it's one of those.
So once a bee like collects your scent and recognizes you and knows you're not a threat, they're not going to make the little sound that pulls the entire hive out.
Okay. They're like that's part of the routine. No cause for alarm.
Right. Problem is when you have a new set of bees every 38 days,
they got to learn their scent again.
They got to learn their scent again.
Yeah, we missed a couple of those.
Okay, I'm smelling these.
Yeah.
Smelling.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just saw the time. We better wrap it up.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. So that should cover pretty much any questions, just call.
Absolutely. Come by. That's the thing. And that's just it. When it comes to Roswell Seed, you come in with questions because that's what this place is. If you're trying to get the best lawn, if you're trying to grow, if you're having trouble with the garden and you're having problems, or if you're having successes, please, come to Roswell Seed, and that's what they do. They've got 100 plus years of exactly that.
Yeah.
And so people have been coming in and out of that store for 100 plus years, asking those questions and their research. And that's kind of like with this fertilizer we've been talking about with this less watering. If you please inquire about it, ask. But so far we're seeing good results.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it looks like maybe we're thinking once a season you're going to have to put this stuff down every 100 days.
Yeah,
we're
hoping. I'm getting the like I said, I got to get with the man who made it. He's kind of hard to get a hold of, but once I get a hold of him and sit down, and we're going to hash out some things and I want to know, type of deal.
And I imagine some of it's they're learning it themselves, because it's trial and error, And if it's never been done before, you don't know what is going to happen until it happens.
Oh, boy, yeah. And then you're just kind of sitting there going,
Study the results, and then you do it again to see if you replicate it or is it something different.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Exactly. And then we got to put in the aspect of where you're at in town, kind of soil, kind of water,
Absolutely.
where
What's
you
the
at.
variables?
Then
different
everything.
results. What variables are different and why?
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Exactly. And then people got to realize too, we're humid right now. I mean, I think today our humidity is supposed to be like 53%.
I thought you said we're human, and I'm like, well, what else would we be? You're watching Lucifer.
Too much. So I mean, there are some things that are happening that we really can't explain, but I'm edging it towards the humidity. So give us a little bit of time on some things, I know people's vegetables didn't come up very well this year. Some did great, some did not do worth a ding.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're trying to figure out what we can do, what we can get, what we need to get.
Sure.
To help everybody out. It's it's a constant.
It's a battle. Every time. Some years you win, some days not so much.
Yeah, you battle at work, and then you go home, and you battle at home, and then you go back and you battle at work, and then. What? Don't look at me in that tone of voice. The men out there know. They know what I just said.
Yeah. Monday through Saturday.
Come on by. Downtown
visit.
Roswell. It's been the same place it's been for a long time now.
Yep,
Come on
long
down.
time.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you. Good luck. Good luck with the bees and the birds and the trees.
Yeah.
And the flowers.
And arguments that start later.
It is Monday.
That's right. The day is young.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right, it's 10 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow.
At Carlsbad Caverns National Park are reminding visitors that absolutely nothing but plain water is allowed inside the caverns after a long-dropped Cheetos bag was discovered in the cavern's big room. Rangers say the bag had a huge impact on the ecosystem of the area around it, causing mold and fungus to begin spreading very quickly. The rangers were able to carefully remove as much of the mold and foreign debris as possible. The big room at Carlsbad Caverns National Park is the largest single cave chamber by volume in North America. The New Mexico Department of Game and Fish is reminding all of us to be aware of slow-moving turtles on the road. The department says desert box turtles can be found coming out of hibernation and becoming more active during the rainy conditions. They say the turtles cross the road looking for new habitats and nest-building opportunities. The department says if you see one on the road, maybe stop and help it get to the other side. They're also reminding folks not to take them home. It's illegal to collect and sell wild turtles. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
We all know that our smartphones give off some radiation, but should you freak out about it? The experts say there's no solid proof it's dangerous, but my friend, who's a cancer surgeon, says otherwise. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Accelerate your AI workload today. Take a free test drive at oracle.com/Kim. Let's talk about SAR, specific absorption rate. Fancy words for how much radiation your body soaks up from your phone. Here in the U.S., the limit is 1.6 watts per kilogram. The iPhone 15 Pro Max sits at 0.98. Samsung Galaxy S4 Ultra, 1.06. Even low levels aren't exactly awesome for your health. So here's a quick way to check your phone's SAR. Open up your dial pad like you're about to make a phone call. Type in *#07# and hit call. You'll be taken to your settings where you can look up RF exposure. Again, *#07#. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing, and of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed at less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim, oracle.com/Kim.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Let's catch you up on some girls soccer, shall we? How about with the Roswell Coyotes to begin with, who are 5-4, and they will be playing at Las Cruces High tonight at 6:30. Las Cruces is 4-2 overall. Roswell lost their last game last Thursday. That was 4-0 to Oregon Mountain. Before that, it was a 4-0 loss to Las Cruces High. So maybe a little bit of improvement in store for tonight for the Coyotes. We'll see. Goddard is 4-4, the girls soccer team, and they'll be taking on Clovis next Thursday at home at 6 o'clock. Clovis is 3-6. It was last game for Goddard was a 1-0 loss at Hobbs, and that broke a 3-game winning streak that the Rockets had going. They had defeated Valencia, Ruidoso, and Carlsbad all in a row. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio. KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Tonight could prove a pivotal night in the race of the White House. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will meet for their first and possibly their only debate. Our White House correspondent Greg Clugston in the debate city of Philadelphia.
Trump and Harris have never met each other, but that will change tonight when the two presidential nominees step onto the debate stage. Election Day is 8 weeks away, and this evening's face-off comes with the country pretty nearly evenly divided. It will mark the first ever general election presidential debate for Harris, while it's number 7 for Trump.
The ABC presidential debate will be simulcast live this evening on the Salem Radio Network. Heads up, New Orleans. This one's for you, and for that matter, for the rest of the coastal Louisiana region. The tropical storm Francine is headed your way, expected to be a hurricane by the time it makes landfall tomorrow. Weather forecast offering some hope to firefighters battling an intense Southern California blaze.
Several days of triple-digit temperatures stoking a wildfire in Southern California, burning so hot, creating its own thunderstorm-like weather systems. But firefighters are hoping to gain the upper hand with cooler weather forecast to move into the area after today. The line fire threatening thousands of homes and commercial structures, burning along the edge of the San Bernardino National Forest just east of Los Angeles. Mountain Home Village resident Stephen Richardson holding out hope he doesn't lose his home.
Hopefully it'll just burn up the ridge and our little community will be free from flames that are nearby.
I'm Julie Walker.
The Biden administration planning a new round of sanctions on Iran after accusing the Islamic Republic of supplying short-range ballistic missiles to Russia for use in Ukraine. Wall Street, the Dow is down 102 points, NASDAQ 73 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Palestinian officials claim an Israeli strike on a crowded tent camp housing people displaced by the Gaza war has killed at least 19. That was revised down from an earlier estimate. The BBC's Will Vernon says an urgent search and rescue operation is underway.
What we understand is that several missiles struck this camp in the Mawasi area of Gaza. Now, the head of the Hamas-run Civil Defense Authority said that 20 tents were hit, and he said that many people were still buried under debris or sand. There are videos and photos from the scene. You can see rescuers digging in what appear to be huge craters and searching for people using lights from their mobile phones. And this is an area where many thousands of people are crammed in, people that have fled from other parts of Gaza.
Israel says it targeted significant Hamas terrorists in that strike. News and analysis at townhall.com. His was one of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood history, and he overcame some big obstacles to achieve that fame. Actor James Earl Jones has died.
You have failed me for the last time, Madam.
James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader, the voice of Mufasa in The Lion King, the voice of CNN,
and he was a lifelong stutterer. He wrote in his autobiography, Voices and Silences, he did not talk for years because he was too embarrassed to speak. A high school teacher helped him find his voice. Jones said in a 2005 AP interview, being Darth Vader's voice led to a lot more work.
It began my work in commercials because they wanted the voice of authority that they saw in Darth Vader.
Jones also had roles in Field of Dreams, Dr. Strangelove, The Hunt for Red October, and as one of the first black actors on daytime TV on As the World Turns in 1965.
Correspondent Margie Zaraletta says James Earl Jones was 93 years old. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The deuce of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
'Tis Tuesday.
Second day of the rest of your life.
Yeah. Of course, debate tonight.
Oh boy, it should be interesting.
Get your popcorn ready. Should be entertaining.
They said that each candidate will be given a pen, a notepad, and a bottle of water.
Oh.
So I really hope that Trump has been working on his drinking water, because that's the one thing he's really not very good at. It's one hand, dude. One hand. It's all you need. I'm really excited to see how it goes tonight, because it'll definitely be very interesting. It's a very divisive time right now.
In all fairness, I mean, I'm going to be entertained. I'm going to watch it, waiting to see what happens like everybody else.
Yeah.
But in the big scope of like learning things or being swayed one way or the other, none of that's going to
happen. Oh, no.
People are pretty much, I think, you got what you got. You like what you like, and you're just going to be cheering or cursing the one you like and don't.
It's literally the same reason people watch NASCAR. We're just watching to see things crash and burn.
Yeah.
We just want to see what happens when mud gets slung.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they could do some things that could really alter people's opinions, but they have to be extreme in nature, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone gets arrested before they leave the stage that night.
Yeah, that would do it. That would certainly do it.
A Jerry Springer-esque moment. Maybe they should get that guy Steve that was always the body man for Jerry Springer.
Oh yes, Steve Wilkos.
Yeah.
Get this off my stage. If you have time to mess with children, you ain't got time to sit on my stage.
Just see if that guy's available.
Did you ever watch his actual show?
No.
Steve got a show.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, like after he found success on Springer, Steve Wilkos got his own show.
Wow.
And it was basically the same thing. Essentially, it was just he was dealing more with like serious issues, more like
he cut out the middleman, Jerry.
Child abuse, a lot of like molesters and stuff like that.
Not who cheated on who or who's the father or whatever they're into.
But his whole thing was he got hyper aggressive with his guests because his guests were usually like it was like a mom and a daughter or whatever, and they would bring the accused out on stage, and Wilkos' whole thing was he would pick up the chair that the guy was going to sit in and throw it off the stage because he didn't
you don't get to sit.
Yeah, you don't get to sit on my stage. But he had that real thick Chicago accent. He goes, You don't get to sit on my stage if you're going to mess around with little girls.
Well, there is a history of chair throwing on the Jerry Springer. That was like the most famous scene was when he had what's his name? I can't remember. But he had the Ku Klux Klan on.
Okay.
And, someone else was on there with him, and then they threw the chair and all.
You know what's weird? I didn't watch a lot of Springer like when I was younger, but there's one episode that I do remember, and I was in 7th grade. I was working with my mom at the nursing home because I got kicked out of school, so I had to go with her in the mornings to the nursing home. So I was sitting in the the break room watching Springer. But here's the thing: it was a completely like normal episode of like
you caught like early Springer,
Yeah, like they had a kid with cancer on.
Yeah, like it was a legit show before it went crazy. Yeah.
And out comes Scott Hall to like
the guy from the Kids in the Hall.
No,
or what was that guy's name?
Scott Hall, the wrestler.
That guy. Okay, I'm thinking
of the Outsiders.
I'm thinking of the actor that his name's Scott, something like that. Kids in the Hall.
Razor Ramon.
Okay.
The bad guy.
Okay.
They brought him out and he did his whole like the bad guy shtick or whatever, and then he like picked.
Was it like a Make-A-Wish thing?
It was kind of like a Make-A-Wish thing, but he picked the kid up and he took him off stage to like go have a day.
Okay.
But it was just weird because he was in full Scott Hall garb because he had like the open like the leather vest open, just chest hair about, and like the panties. There's really not a great way to put it. The tights, but the panties,
the singlet, whatever they call that. That's
legs just super exposed.
Yeah.
And then he goes carrying the cancer kid off. But that's what I remember from that show was that one episode where it was just completely normal. Nobody was like getting hair pulled or anything.
Early Jerry was more like the rest of the talk shows. And then they hit a mark somewhere in the 90s there or mid 90s where they just went off the rails. And to be honest, that was my prime time watching because at that time in the heyday of that's when I was in the Air Force and I worked midnights. So I would literally get off at 8 a.m. I get home. About 9 o'clock, Jerry Springer come on every day, and that was my part of my routine. I get home, I grab dinner or breakfast, depending on how you called it. It was breakfast food, but it was dinner. Right. And so I get home, and I'd sit, and about 9 o'clock, turn on the tube, watch Jerry eat my breakfast/dinner, and that's how I ended my day usually. Watch that, and then about 10:30 or so, about an hour and a half later, I'd start thinking about taking a nap and go down. But that was how I get off work, get my food at the chow hall, and then head on down to catch a Springer.
I can't catch my Z's until I catch my Springer.
That's what I did.
It's like my NyQuil.
Yeah, it just came on, and so I saw the. At some point, I think I did get tired. Like after a while, I was like, all right. I mean,
well, there
was a good year or two. I was pretty watching it religiously.
At the very beginning, when Springer started to turn, it became a thing. It was everybody was talking about it, everybody was watching it. The later years, it just became the same episode.
Trope, and then over and over again. And at that point, weren't they doing like pay-per-view specials of basically just the show? And only difference was they wouldn't bleep the nudity. Really? Like when the women
too hot for TV.
Yeah, when the women start fighting and the blouses and everything come flying off, they usually bleep or blur it out for TV.
Well, sure.
But when you bought the VHS pay-per-view tapes. Which I didn't do. I'm not that bad, but I saw the commercials.
I didn't buy them. I just rented them.
I did.
Nobody wants to own those.
Like Blockbuster was around.
It's a very weird time, like in history.
Well, it was also the heyday of those Girls Gone Wild.
That's what I was
videos.
just gonna say. Is I was a young boy, and if you were watching like Comedy Central or any of those channels at a specific time, like in the evening, because our feed here in New Mexico is off the East Coast. So like the midnight stuff would start getting shown at 10
p.m.
Here.
Yeah.
So you'd see, it was literally the shortest warning ever. Warning, this video is not for children. And then, you just hear the steel drum.
Right.
The wildest girls you've ever seen. It's so odd that was such a recent point in our history.
Yeah.
And yet there's no way
it was a short-lived
you
time.
could do something like that today. There is no way.
Well, this is also the heyday of the 1-900 numbers, all of those things, and just when you hit, like if you wanted to watch, like Celebrity Texas Hold'em poker on like Spike TV at 10 o'clock at night, all the commercials were for 1-900 numbers,
right?
Girls Gone Wild, or
that steel drum rings in my head. Warning: this video is not for children. Ding 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 ding.
Those were pretty much the staple of all the commercials during that time of the evening.
So the 1-900 number thing, that's actually kind of I heard a story recently. I know, I heard it before. He always takes it back to wrestling. So WCW had a 900 hotline number where you can call and get like insider scoops. So come to find out, Mean Gene Okerson, Mean Gene Okerlund, who ran or who was their ring announcer, he ran that hotline.
That was his
like
payday.
All the money, or like 80% of the money, went to Mean Gene. It like went straight into his pocket. So he would talk as slowly as he possibly
99 cents a minute.
could, and he wouldn't give you the good stuff until about 5 minutes later.
Yeah, you're in about $30 before you get the good skinny. Then your parents, why do I have a $400 phone bill?
Kids, get your parents' permission before calling. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Mom, can I call this 900 number?
You ever called and like you call them, but because you're a kid, you know, one time you go call you, but you get like the free 30 seconds and like, but if you don't want to start paying, hang up now. And you always, all right, I just want to hear the.
I do remember. I didn't ever call like a 900 number, but I do remember like calling a number one time, and it was this like super sexy girl's voice. If you want to hear me and 15 of my friends play, and that was, you had like, press a button to continue. But I was like, no, what is this? I didn't know what was happening at the time.
I'm not crossing that threshold. I will get caught. Our guest in here. I heard a door.
Actually, yes.
Oh, sweet. Very good. I heard a door. I couldn't tell if we had a guest in.
It said, Iana in the chat, Mike so owns those. They're in a box in his closet next to the Girls Gone Wilds. And that one Playboy t-shirt.
So?
Dude, speaking of Playboy, real quick, I got a gift over the weekend. Actually, Iana found it at a bookstore in Cruces. It's the Playboy drinks guide. It's like their Bible for like the drinks at the bar in the Playboy Mansion.
What a Playboy drinks.
It's apparently like not even like a published book. This was just like their like book. It's worth like $90. She found it for $6.
Oh wow!
Heck yeah!
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a score. And I was looking through it. And it's like shows how to make all the syrups that they use.
Oh wow!
All the different like concoctions and stuff. And yeah, it's legit. It's like this thick. It's like a Bible for Playboy drink making.
Wow! When did it come out?
Like in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an older book.
So might have to update the drinks.
Maybe a little bit.
I'd be curious to read because how many of the drinks are the same drinks but under different names?
A lot of them are different names, but it's a lot of like
they're probably more sophisticated names then.
Or twists,
now they're all
twists on those.
Yeah, now they're all just dumb names.
Like their paper plane is something called something different, or
now
their
all the
last
drinks
word
are named after weed strains. I'd like a cocktail. Can I have the furry wall cocktail?
Like the not safe for work cocktail.
That's right.
They're all not safe for work.
Can't find my house. This is a drink called I Can't Find My House. But when you talk about that reminds me of the time. I don't know if you all remember. People have been listening for a little bit because this was about 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
One of our salespeople procured a copy of Playboy magazine in Braille. And it was a legit thing. And to be honest, I don't think it was the whole book. Like, I think we got one of two.
That's the thing is, I've seen these before.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen them in like, like libraries and stuff. Like, believe it or not, when I went to the New Mexico School for the Visually Handicapped summer camp, in their library, like in the school's library, they actually have these Playboys. But they're not.
I'm sure it's the articles.
It's the articles. Yeah, it's like it's interviews.
You want to know
jokes and articles.
The best stereo equipment of the 70s and 80s.
Exactly. You literally were reading it for the articles. I thought it would be kind of interesting if they did have a centerfold that was just like topographical.
Yeah.
But no, none of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, how do you do a picture in Braille? I guess you can't. But
and it doesn't look like the only way you know it's a Playboy is because of the bunny on the front. But it looks like a script. It's like thick and like manila colored.
Interesting.
The book was.
Yeah, it was like a brown.
Yeah,
it was
like
almost
manila.
It looked. You know what it reminded me of? Like back when we were kids, and you got your new textbooks,
Mhm.
and you got the paper grocery bags to make the covers for them. That's what the book kind of looked like.
Right? No frills at all. Of course.
All I was missing was the big like Food Lion or Safeway
Right.
logo on the front.
Yeah, they knew their clientele. Nobody needs to see what's inside. They just need to feel it.
That's right. But yeah, it was that was an interesting see. I was like, at first off, I was like, what's the point of a Braille Playboy? But then I had another one of those moments the other day, and I know, but this is just me being me. I went through the McDonald's drive-thru the other day to get lunch,
Mhm.
and as I was sitting at the window to pick up my food, I noticed they had a sticker on the door that said menus in Braille available upon request. And I'm like, how many requests for Braille menus do you get through the drive-thru? Just saying.
It's right up there with why does the drive-up ATM have Braille on the letters?
Well, I know that might be in the passenger seat, but I just for a hot minute was sitting there thinking, who's asking for Braille menus
Honestly,
at the drive-thru?
You should have requested one because I'd love to see what it looked like, how thick it is.
Yeah.
Just to have it, just to have as like a memento.
Yeah. And I'm like, do y'all have Braille signs? Big sign right there. Do y'all have Braille menus? There's a big. I didn't see it.
It's like on a chain.
Right.
There you go. Feel it out.
Yeah, it's like the key to the gas station bathroom.
Actually, the best way to do that is actually pull up in blind attire, like sunglasses over your, and like with a
With the
cane
stick.
outside the driver's
Stick
side
the
window.
stick on the window. Ding, 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 ding. You have a Braille menu.
Youngblood, can I get one of them Braille menus?
And that's why we're 7. Dr. Sean Powell is patiently waiting in the other room while I'm doing bad Braille jokes. The drive-thrus at fast food establishments. He'll give us an update on what's happening out at ENMUR here in just a few. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a gander at your weather. Pretty boring, just kind of sunny, mid-90s. That's kind of what we got. Nothing, write home about.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in the upper 80s for the afternoon high today for Artesia and Carlsbad. A little bit warmer for Roswell. We'll be in the low 90s. Should be sunny all day. Might be a little bit breezy. We have dry air in place. Clear for the overnight hours. Our lows near 60. Low to mid 90s for the afternoon high on Wednesday and sunny. We'll be in the mid 90s on Thursday. Upper 90s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 45% with winds currently out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Sunny and 93 today with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 59 degrees with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny and 93. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies. Looking at an overnight low of 62 degrees. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sensing a trend there. Thursday, sunny and 96. Gradually gets a little warmer as the week progresses. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, that's our hot day, actually. Sunny, high of 99 expected on Friday. And then looking at the weekend, sunny and 95 for Saturday. There is a 20% chance that we could see some rain showers Sunday afternoon. Otherwise, mostly sunny and 92. And then low 90s to start the work week next week. All right, it is 8:23. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell will join us. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Are you ready to succeed? Earn your FFA certification through ENMU Roswell's Aviation Maintenance Technology Program. ENMU Roswell has the only FFA Part 147 airframe and power plant school in southeast New Mexico. Receive commercial and general aviation training, hands-on training with operation aircraft, Boeing commercial experience, advanced composite repair training, and more. And ENMU Roswell offers in-state tuition for veterans too. Learn more about this exciting program on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico for 2023? It's simple. Great selection, great savings, and great people. Right now, the lot is loaded with all new Hyundai models, including Elantras, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. And with 0% on select new, 5-year warranty, and 3 years free oil changes on all 2024 models in stock. Now's the time to trade up and save big. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do. Come check out the all-new and used car supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Dr. Sean Powell is back with us from Eastern New Mexico University here in Roswell. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mike. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How's life at the campus this morning?
Things are good. We're in about our 4th week of classes.
Let's say people are settled in now and kind of actually talking midterms here before we know it here in a couple weeks. So
coming up pretty quick. But enrollment was up about 2% over last year. Last year we had about an 80% increase, so things are looking good on the enrollment and opportunities for individuals on campus for sure.
Absolutely, and don't forget, if you're interested in going back to school and maybe want to start here in the spring, January, now's the time to start getting registered at the campus, start talking with the various counselors and get your plan put together, whether you're pursuing a degree or just, for a certificate or just taking some enrichment classes, whatever your goal is. Now's a good time to talk to the folks and everybody down at the college and get while it's not busy, while everyone's focused on classes and everything else. Now's the time to talk about financial aid, talk about enrollment, talk about all the getting that legwork kind of stuff done right now. So
I think you're on target with all of those assessments. And if someone's interested, we will have a second 8-week semester that'll be coming up.
Okay. So you can get in this semester for select courses here.
Yes. We'll have a shorter number of courses, obviously, for the second 8 weeks, but there are some courses that will be available.
Sure.
And then, like you said, if you're looking at coming in January, this is the time to be talking with enrollment and advising and getting everything set up.
Yeah, if you're brand new to the campus and stuff, that way you can get the lay of the land, you can get a tour, learn where everything is, learn the important places like where to eat, where to get your books, where to get, all those things.
Right.
And do that. That's and the great thing about it is when you go to the campus, you'll find that there's people just like you, whether you're fresh out of high school or maybe you're going for a second career or you've retired and looking to go on to the next phase of your life here. College is full of students just like you. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That age range goes from 15 up to the 70.
That's right.
I don't know the current number, but that's what our latest numbers have been. We had one fellow who was 77 and completing his
degree. Just graduated and he was gave a speech at the graduation and really, and his was, it's for its own personal gain, but it was also, when you get that stage, he's proving points to grandkids and saying, look, you can do it, I can do it, you can do it. And so being that example for his family as much as enriching his own personal life. So there's those kinds of stories all the time at the college there.
Right.
So that being said, for the rest of us here, if you're not planning on attending or are, it doesn't matter. But if you are voting here in the fall here in November for the, there is an election coming up. You might have heard, presidential, kind of a big deal. But one thing we do want to know, it's that time of year for the GO bonds, time for renewal of those, and institutions all over the state are relying on this money for various projects. With Eastern New Mexico University Roswell, you're going to use this money is going to be earmarked for the aviation maintenance program and upgrading and updating the facilities there to provide really one of those programs that is very unique to Eastern New Mexico University Roswell, that not a lot of universities of that level have those kinds of programs available. So it's kind of focusing on our specialty here a little bit.
Absolutely. And when we look at this particular program, it's one of two in the state that's a Part 147 FFA approved school. And the other one is at Albuquerque at Central New Mexico College. And this prepares individuals to take their airframe and power plant license exam. And it's a 2-year program. The students can come in, do 1 year, finish whatever portion of it that they're done at that time, depending on when they enroll, whether it's the airframe or power plant, take that license, and then they can get hired at one of the maintenance repair organizations and work and get paid, and then come to school, finish the 2nd year, get the full A&P license. And when they get that, they're really looking at $50,000 to $60,000 a year with no real experience.
Yeah, those credentials, once they have that credential in their pocket, that's a golden ticket into that, because y'all have watched the news and see the aviation industry, and every time there's a holiday, the delays and everything else, the aviation industry across the board is needing more people, from the maintenance side to flying to everything in between. And so when you have your A&P license, you literally can write your own ticket and make a very good living doing that career field. And it's great to see that, once it's all said and done and this hangar's all built and ready to go here, that students can go from the very beginning to the very end and walk out the door with their A&P license, where they could walk into Delta or any company that services airlines and probably be offered a job.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're on target again, Mike. I think the idea here is to get across the average age of aviation maintenance technicians in the United States is 58. So there's a critical workforce shortage of A&T mechanics, if you will, or the A&P license holders. And that's one of the reasons that we don't have the flight to Phoenix right now. It wasn't just about demand. It wasn't about seats or people filling the seats, because the flight, they were fairly full going to Phoenix.
Yeah, money-wise wasn't there. It's logistics.
It was the pilots and the maintainers was the larger factor, as I understand it, in terms of that flight being pulled. But our hope is that this will pass in November. Then we'll get the work done, and hopefully by 26, 27, we'll have the building finished, and everybody will be able to come in. We'll be able to enroll more. The Reno Air Race is also be going on.
About to say, with that coming into town, that's going to increase demand for that industry just by default here, Because I imagine some of the Reno stuff, granted, they come in once a year, a couple times a year, do their thing, but I imagine they're going to have a permanent residence out at that airfield or out at the airport all the time, in some way, shape, or form, especially from mechanical and that side of things. So
it's my understanding that they're going to have some permanent presence, and I know at least one of their staff members has been here on an ongoing basis, working with the airport and making sure that everything is in place, because what's going to happen in May is the pilot qualification course, and so there's going to be probably anywhere from 100 to 1,000 individuals here related to that particular effort to get everybody qualified and certified to fly the new course.
Since it's a new track, every single pilot has to get certified on it. Normally, they've been racing up in Reno for many years, and only the new pilots, because the other ones, they fly the course all the time. So now that it's a new course, every single pilot that's under the Reno Air Race umbrella will have to come out here in May and get certified on the new course and everything. So there will be a lot of people in town for that.
there will be. And it's my understanding, and I'm not a big gamer. Our esports club sponsors will tell you I'm not a big gamer, but it's my understanding that Microsoft has a Reno Air Races game.
Yes.
And they're going to change that and make it to the Roswell course. And my understanding, from what I hear, people will be able to actually on the game fly the course before the races actually happen.
It is pretty impressive. I don't know if you remember. I know you're not a big gamer, but when we were younger and kids, in the early dawn of PC gaming and stuff, there was a game called Flight Simulator, and it was to date one of the most realistic flying simulation games out there. That game has evolved over the years, where it's gotten more and more intense. And there is a Reno Air Race, Roswell Air Race version of that there, where you can fly the course, fly the different classes of aircraft, and do all that stuff. But it's, short of, it's probably the closest thing you can get to sort of sitting in the cockpit and actually flying the course. It's pretty intense. So it's if you're into that kind of stuff, you definitely want to check it out. So.
Well, and it's awesome for marketing, for the Air Center, for Roswell, for the campus, for just the area to have Microsoft doing this. Again, I haven't ever been on that flight simulator, but I remember going through that time period where it was developed. And, Space Invaders is my speed.
Well, and that's just it. I remember playing the game like as a kid, and this is and this is when you could fly F-15s or F-16, pretty much all the military aircraft.
Right.
And I remember it's like, I'm not a pilot. Because you had to know stuff like flaps and speed. Like, you had to know all that. And I'm like, I just want to go pull back for the thing to go up. I want a button to blow stuff up, and I want a button to land. That's all I want. This game was not that. You want to learn to be a pilot, this is that game. So, it's a pretty intense game. So.
I would guess graphics have probably improved over the time.
Yeah. I'm sure the Reno Air Races looks way better than that 1996 Flight Simulator computer game.
Some other things that are happening on campus. We're going to honor Constitution Day next week on the 17th. We have few speakers coming in, and our students are going to be involved with that. It's a federal requirement if you receive federal funding, and we do, to hold a observation of the Constitution. I think the sheriff is going to come and do some speaking as well.
Usually you offer free copies of the Constitution for everybody, the little pocket constitutions and things like that. So imagine if you're looking for a copy of that to have, you'll find many of them there at the event.
And I think that'll be on the 17th, starting around 11 o'clock in the ITC Commons area. And Martha Stab, Veronica Munoz, and others have been working hard to make sure that's a successful event. So.
I like it. I grant it. You're doing it because you have to check a box and things like that. But it would never hurt people to understand the what your Constitution says and to be honest, a correct interpretation. We live in this day and age, and you get on social media and everyone's telling you what they think each of these amendments mean and what the Constitution does. And let's hear from people that this is what they study, they understand, and so when you interpret, they can give you a true understanding of what and of course the debate continues because there's always debate, but at least a clear sense of what these amendments mean, what that Constitution, what does that guarantee, what doesn't it guarantee, and that as an American, it's on all of us to know that information because that's your book, man, that's your guidebook. The U.S. Constitution tells you what rights you do and do not have as an American citizen. So, as an American citizen, you should know it pretty well.
Well, like you indicated, we will have copies of the Constitution available and just really focus on the interpretation there.
Absolutely.
Another event that's coming up on the 21st, the Gonzalez family is going to be hosting the David Gonzalez Heart Awareness 5K. And this is a fun run walk.
Is this I think a second annual? Like, didn't they do it last year? I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do it in conjunction with our turkey
with
trot.
the turkey trot, but
and
it's
then
kind of evolved since David passed.
Separate event now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's going to be at Cahoon Park. And the reason I bring it up is because they're kind enough to have our food pantry as one of their beneficiaries.
Oh, well,
so
awesome.
Entry to the event is a food item, non-perishable food item.
Excellent. And so all that food will go back to the college pantry there.
I don't know if it's going to be totally
a portion of it.
A portion of it will be going back to the college.
Yeah. The idea is to get a whole bunch, and you fill that one up, and then fill a couple others too. Right. Harvest Ministries or wherever else they need it.
Right.
And don't forget that is something too that if you're a student. There's the food pantry there, veterans. There's resources there on campus. If you're in need for that kind of stuff. Residential stuff, just day-to-day, the campus has a lot of resources to help students navigate through those kind of things. If you're needing food, if you're needing, assistance in that kind of stuff, the campus please reach out. Please, that's what exactly there for. We've had some great people that have started programs and benefit, a lot of it's privately started, some of these things. And the campus, is able to provide these thanks to that. So please, if you're in need, there's a lot more. I know a lot of people think, you think your books, you think your classes, you don't think of that kind of stuff necessarily at the campus. But no, they get it. When we mentioned at the beginning, everybody it comes to that campus, whether they're 18, fresh out of high school, or in their 70s and looking for a second chapter in their life here.
Right.
And I get it. Times are tough. You need help. But the pantry's there. Veterans resource. There's reach out to those resources. There's so much stuff on campus like that. Small business stuff. There's a whole thing on. If you want to talk about setting up or learn about small business, and you don't have to be a student. You don't have to be enrolled in the campus to take advantage of these kinds of things. All of that is available to you right there on the campus of ENMUR.
And I appreciate you pointing that out. We do have a number of support services for students, faculty, and staff. Mm-hmm. We have a virtual program called Timely Care, and it's a mental health and healthcare 24-hour a day, 7-day a week service that students, faculty, and staff can log into. And the reason we went with that virtual service is because of the availability. A lot of times when people have difficulties, it might be 2 a.m, and
it's not 1:30 in the afternoon while they're sitting in English 101 class.
Right. Well, it could be.
It could be, but more likely it's 2 a.m. and they're not on campus. They're
right.
They're living life in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
And so we have that service available. Again, that it's Timely Care, and it's something that the Eastern system has adopted across the board now. And I think for students, faculty, and staff, it's just another benefit that is available. I know when I go to orientation and I tell students, hey, you have access to this, they're surprised that it's a free service that they don't know about.
I think most people just aren't aware it exists, and that's why it's like, hey, put it there, and put this in put the bee in your bonnet, put it in your hip pocket. Hopefully you never need these services, but if you do come across a point in your life where things aren't working out, tap into this. This is what it's there for.
Absolutely. And I tell people, it doesn't replace insurance or health insurance. If you get in a car wreck, don't call Timely Care, go to the ER, right?
Yes, exactly.
But for these kinds of things, if you need a medication refill or something like that, you can get online and do that through the Timely Care service. I think another thing is all of the tutoring offerings that we have. We have student tutors. We've got some professional tutors that are there. We've just got a great staff and a great faculty on campus, and lots of good programs for people that can, come in and, like you said, get their goals met.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the beauty or the advantage of, maybe starting your secondary educational career at Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, where it's funny. We were talking about the GEO bonds here, and please, I will tell you, vote yes on this on Bond 3. Institutions across the state are going to benefit from it. But just to give you a little perspective and kind of what I'm talking about, arguably, or just say the largest college in the state of New Mexico is probably University of New Mexico, UNM in Albuquerque here. They are requesting $87 million for the GEO bond, the Bond 3 here for their institution. Here at Eastern in here in Chavez County, they're asking for about 5.3. So, I mean, that's a big difference here. But my point is, at Eastern, you sign up for a class here, English 101 or whatever you want to call it. It's the same class there in UNM, a third of the price, and you're not in a classroom with you and 200 other people. It is you and, 20, 25 people in a class size here. And if you'd like to talk to your instructor, you don't have to get on your app and make an appointment or do any of that stuff and hope that there's a time in your schedule. You know what you do? You raise your hand. Or after class, you walk to the front and say, hey, I got a question. Can I talk to you about this? And that's all you do. And trust me, when you're first, especially if it's your first time in the higher education environment, you're coming from high school, and, there's a big difference. A lot more freedoms show up from high school to college. The onus is all on you now as opposed to somebody, and at ENMUR, it's easier to get tapped in those resources, people looking out for you. Whereas you get to some place like UNM, and they provide a great edge. I'm not trying to, but if you're needing more help or looking for, you're going to have a harder time navigating through that because it's you times 1,000. Whereas here, it's 20 others of you. You know what I mean? It makes a huge difference. And and since the state of New Mexico got smart and everything with universities in state transfers seamlessly. You take a class here at ENMUR, it transfers seamlessly to UNM or NMSU or any other institution, university here or university in the state of New Mexico. So
absolutely, and when you talk about that, it's a real testament to the state and to all of the institutions that got together. I know Anne Marie Ofield, for example, on our campus was involved with that Common Course numbering process for about 4 years, and you're again looking at taking a class that is going to have a lower enrollment, probably 25 or so per class, and that same class, if it's a general education course, history, English, math, whatever that course happens to be, science, it's going to transfer anywhere in the state, and so that Common Course numbering is a really good opportunity. Not only for students that are of typical college age, but the dual credit students that want to get a head start on it. And so, for example, the early college high school program at the college that's run in conjunction with RISD, they'll bring in about 50 students per year. Right now, I think they have around 158. It's a totally different experience, and there's still some remnants of COVID still affecting them.
Still doing a little bit of that, but it's in the rearview mirror most of it.
It's a good opportunity for individuals who, they want to come in, they want to get some college credit done, they want to get everything accomplished in a timely manner, because they can graduate at 18 with that high school diploma and a college associate degree. I know a few of them that I've kept in contact with, and they go to different campuses or they go out into the workforce. It doesn't have to be just for transfer degrees. Some of them have completed that aviation maintenance.
Yeah.
So imagine having an A&P license at 18 and an associate's degree.
The only people that would remotely even have something like that had to sign up with Uncle Sam. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And to be honest, they ain't having it yet at 18. They'll get it in a few years. Right. But that's the only other place you're going to get anything remotely like that is you're going to have to commit to being run by UCMJ for 4 to 6 years.
Right. And hair standards or something like that.
That's right.
But I did want to give a shout out to the early college high school faculty and staff there, and their principal, Lucy Hall. They do a great job with the students, and we work very closely with them. And then going back to the GEO bond, this isn't just for us. NEMI also has a project. The Institute is wanting to upgrade the HVAC systems in Wilson Hall, and so that's about a $2 million ask. And the other thing about this, it's not just about improving the capabilities and the infrastructures of the colleges. It's also economic development, because we tend to work with local contractors to do these projects.
Absolutely.
So for Chavez County, this is going to be over a $7 million project.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Number of projects.
I mean, it looks kind of tiny compared to UNM, but it is a big deal for us.
Right. and the other thing, like you mentioned, they retire a bond, so this is a tax neutral effort.
You're not going to see an increase in your taxes by voting yes on this bond when you do go vote here in November. So please, I do this every time. Dr. Powell and all the institutions just encourage you to vote. They can't say, please vote for. I can. Please vote for this. When you see the bonds, you're going to see a couple. There's going to be the bond 3 here, which is the one that deals with universities and higher education. There's going to also be one about your libraries and other things, and those are every library, your city ones to your school libraries and everything in between. You're also going to find one for seniors, senior centers and senior services and things like that. I always tell people vote yes on all 3 because it's the same thing like this bond. There's not extra taxes coming out. This is just needing permission for they can release the bond so they can use these monies for the various projects that each of these different entities are requesting.
And this year there's a 4th one, and these are on the back of the ballot, so you have to turn the ballot over.
Yeah, they're on the back one. Please flip it over when you get those. Don't stop when you get to the bottom of the first page.
And the 4th one is to increase the communication capability for first responders and the New Mexico State Police.
Very important one, too, there.
So they want to put up more repeaters and more Wi-Fi and broadband access for the Highway Patrol.
A lot of that is technology
Police.
has changed in the communications world. How we talk to and fro, and let's face it, the state of New Mexico, by and large, is a pretty rural area. We got a whole lot of nothing in between things. So they have to get a little bit more creative on getting instant communications over rural/isolated areas.
Right.
And so that's what's going. I mean, to be honest, they spend probably a bunch of funding like this in a more populated area, but we just have that unique caveat of that. So this is a good thing. They've got to update it, like the technology, internet, all that stuff. They've got better technologies, but because we live in rural areas, we don't necessarily have that technology available to us yet. Hence the reason the bond, so we can get they can update the infrastructure to allow more seamless communication between our first responders. And because that's the difference between life and death. It just is. When you get that call into 911, we just kind of assume it goes to the thing and it goes, but there's a whole series of stuff that happens depending on the seriousness or the nature of your 911 call. And all of that kind of stuff is going to help make it faster. So that ambulance or that police car is showing up at your house that much quicker. So yes, vote yes on that too. Or fire truck, vote yes.
Right. And one other thing I did want to mention, we were nominated for a New Mexico Hospital Association Award for community healthcare preparation. And so really want to thank everyone in our health sciences programs who have contributed their efforts to meeting the needs for medical and allied health professionals in the state. And in that healthcare side, we always talk about tech ed, welding, automotive, aviation maintenance, HVAC.
Those are your bread and butters.
Right. But over on the health science side, we also have the nursing program. We have medical assisting.
One of the best in the state.
Respiratory therapy, occupational therapy assisting, and the EMT program that takes them all the way through paramedic. So there's a lot of programming out there.
All that right here. You can put it this way. If you're looking for a career in the medical field, you can get all of your training, all of the resources you need, and can be working here in a year or two. All of it you can find right there at the campus of ENMUR here. And so that's what we're saying. If you're just this is a great issue. Go schedule an appointment. Go talk to an advisor. Sit down. Or if you want, you can go online, roswell.enmu.edu, and do your own reading and research on there. But if you want to talk to a live person and perhaps, to learn more about or go a little more in depth on what you're reading online, set up that appointment. Talk with an advisor. Let's see what we can do to get you a game plan for what you're trying to do next here. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that support. And
absolutely. Yeah. And please vote on these bonds. This one, like the last one was with the lights and security and and so now you're starting to see something, you're seeing that work going on here. Right. Prior to that, the automotive remodel of that whole facility there, that was a courtesy of one of these bonds here. And now, I'm sure our automotive industry are very thankful that facility is there, because now they're cranking out mechanics and automotive technicians, and they're getting gobbled up by all of our people as soon as they're graduating over there. And we're going to do the same thing with aviation maintenance, and that's what this is going to do. So please vote yes on that, and because it's investment. Not only is investment in ENMUR, it is a community investment. You're setting the foundation to create more versatility for this community. Right. You know, we don't, excuse me, we live in very niche communities. Look at places like Hobbs, Carlsbad. If the potash or the oil and gas aren't doing well, it's boom or bust. Roswell's more diverse. We got farming, we got ranching, we got oil and gas. We kind of, we're a little bit more diverse in our way income comes in. This continues to be on the cutting edge of that. So when those times hit, when oil and gas is bad, Roswell weathers that storm a little bit better, because we're not so resilient on our one egg in one basket. We've got multiple eggs in multiple baskets. So.
Yes, absolutely.
So please, that's why you vote yes on these kinds of things. So.
Well, and I think just contributing overall to economic development, that's a focus of our campus.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to see good things in our community, supporting and partnering entities like ENMUR is a very much a good thing and needed to do on this. So please vote yes on this, even if you don't have anybody in your family any time going to a college anytime soon. Please, this is, if you want great things, if you're wanting to see things, this is the kind of stuff we need to do to foster and to help that happen. So good deal. Is there anything we missed, Dr. Powell?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
I appreciate the time this morning.
Anytime. We appreciate it. We'll see you. And anything else we need outside of our normal deal, please let me know. And, of course, if you have any questions about anything we talked about, call an advisor. Go online, roswell.enmu.edu, and you can read just about everything you need to know there at the website.
Absolutely.
So, good deal. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. 8:55. Let's pause for a quick break and some news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Park officials at Carlsbad Caverns National Park are reminding visitors that absolutely nothing but plain water is allowed inside the caverns after a long-dropped Cheetos bag was discovered in the cavern's big room. Rangers say the bag had a huge impact on the ecosystem of the area around it, causing mold and fungus to begin spreading very quickly. The rangers were able to carefully remove as much of the mold and foreign debris as possible. The big room at Carlsbad Caverns National Park is the largest single cave chamber by volume in North America. The New Mexico Department of Game and Fish is reminding all of us to be aware of slow-moving turtles on the road. The department says desert box turtles can be found coming out of hibernation and becoming more active during the rainy conditions. They say the turtles cross the road looking for new habitats and nest-building opportunities. The department says if you see one on the road, maybe stop and help it get to the other side. They're also reminding folks not to take them home. It's illegal to collect and sell wild turtles. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
all across America. This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. Yesterday, investors bought the dip coming off the market's worst week of the year, and U.S. stocks finished higher. Also, investors look to be increasingly convinced the Fed will enact a rate cut at this month's policy meeting, boosting some stocks like banking giant J.P. Morgan Chase and retailers Amazon and Costco. AI darling NVIDIA rebounded coming off last week's big sell-off. Americans look to be increasingly leaning on credit cards, as the most recent consumer credit report shows the category is growing at its highest pace since 2022. Today's economic data includes August's NFIB Small Business Optimism Index, a reading that's been heavily influenced by rising inflation and its impact on businesses' bottom lines. Looking ahead for the market tomorrow, the latest CPI report will shed some light on what consumers are dealing with in terms of price growth. U.S. crude oil futures rebounded by more than 1% after posting their worst week last week since October of 2023. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Justice's antitrust case against Google began as prosecutors allege the Alphabet company's online ad technology inhibits smaller companies from competing. That's the Market Report. I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
There are black beans, and then there are Goya black beans. Whole, plump, delicious, and loved by all kinds of chefs. The professional chefs at Chef's Best love them so much, they awarded our beans their Excellence Award. At-home chefs love them so much, they awarded our beans the internationally acclaimed Goya black beans. Whole, plump, and oh so delicious. Find them in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Talk radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Parts of the Gulf Coast bracing for a hurricane.
Tropical storm Francine has strengthened in the Gulf of Mexico. Forecast to make landfall Wednesday in southern Louisiana. People are lining up to fill sandbags and get gasoline in parishes along the Louisiana Gulf Coast, where hurricane watches are already posted from Sabine Pass to Morgan City, Louisiana, about a 200-mile stretch. Grand Island Police Chief Chris Hernandez on WVU-ETV says people under evacuation orders should be packing their things now.
Use your head, think ahead of time. You don't want to be stranded.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
It is debate night in the Cradle of Liberty.
Former President Trump and Vice President Harris will face off for an hour and a half inside the National Constitution Center here in downtown Philadelphia. Police are bracing for possible protests. Barricades have been erected, barring access to the historic area that includes the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall. With 19 electoral votes, Pennsylvania is the biggest prize among the battleground states expected to decide the election. Greg Clugston, Philadelphia.
And the ABC presidential debate will be simulcast live this evening on the Salem Radio Network. The manhunt for Kentucky's highway gunman takes on an added sense of urgency as the suspect vows to, in his words, kill a lot of people. The suspect, 32-year-old Joseph Couch. The Israeli military says an American activist who was shot and killed in the West Bank last week was likely shot indirectly and unintentionally by Israeli forces who were aiming at someone else. Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed this hour. The Dow is down 202 points, while the Nasdaq is trading 36 points higher, and the S&P is up a fraction. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A robot has begun a mission to retrieve the first sample of melted fuel debris from inside one of the 3 damaged reactors at a disabled Japanese nuclear plant.
This is a key step in the multi-decade operation to decommission Fukushima, 13 years after it was engulfed by a massive tsunami, sending 3 reactors into meltdown. No humans can enter, so specially designed tools are being used to remove a sample of the almost 900 tons of radioactive debris inside. It's the second attempt after a previous one was scuppered by technical issues. The plant's operator, TEPCO, envisages this operation alone will take 2 weeks, with a full removal of the debris likely to take decades. To prepare the ground, it sent drones and a snake-like robot capable of withstanding intense radiation into the reactor.
The BBC's Will Leonardo. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un vowing to redouble efforts to make his nuclear force fully ready for combat with the U.S. and its allies. Townhall.com. Google's legal woes are multiplying, falling victim to its own success. The online search giant facing another antitrust suit that threatens to break up the company.
The Justice Department and a coalition of states contend Google built and maintains a monopoly over the technology that matches advertisers to online publishers. The government contends Google's dominance over the software on both the buy side and the sell side of the transaction enables it to keep up to 36 cents on the dollar when it brokers sales between publishers and advertisers. Google says the government's case is based on an outdated perception of the Internet when desktop computers dominated the landscape. Jeremy House reporting.
Google has lost its final legal challenge against the European Union penalty for giving its own shopping recommendations an illegal advantage over rivals in search results. It ends a long-running antitrust case. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy miracles
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Debate Tuesday.
Hiccups. Debate night in America.
Debate night.
They really should get like a, I don't know, like a George Strait, some like country. I couldn't think of any country like superstars. Get like a Hank Williams III. Do like, 'cause Tuesday is debate night on ABC.
There you go.
Just the glass breaks and then off on the stage walk the candidates.
I think they should go, because I just happened to watch a clip last hour of Wolfgang Van Halen just going off on a guitar. And I was like, he's pretty good.
That kid can shred, dude. That kid is...
I think his dad taught him a thing. That kid could play, man, and bring him out. Yeah. After seeing that, I'm like, just bring Wolfgang Van Halen out to come out and just jam. You know, nothing else. I'll be entertained by that.
Or just, something on the backstage, like people spinning plates,
Savannah Bananas.
Playing the glasses, We
get the Savannah Bananas out there.
All right, there
we
you
get
go.
the guy juggling the bat. We could have, that guy with no legs run around. The guy on stilts. We could do the whole thing.
Matt. We call him Matt. Whatever.
You ain't got no legs, you ten, man.
You ain't got no legs. There's certain like art forms that were really big, like when I was younger, when I was a kid or a teenager, and then they just vanished. Like, remember how for a good portion of the 90s, there was a whole subsection of people that were playing glasses? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if it got to like a thing, but I remember
huge deal.
I remember people wearing glasses. I don't remember if it was like a whole like
a movement.
Wave.
No,
Yeah.
it was a movement.
Was
I saw
it?
it.
I must have missed the movement.
Maybe I was just privy to it. I don't know, but
you were in an early wormhole.
But you never see like, you know, the glass players on like America's Got Talent these days. You know, now it's like, you know, hoop tricks and stuff. But I would love to see somebody just go out on stage with a table full of glasses and just start playing like Fleur de Lune or something.
Every once in a while, like I feel like America's Got Talent had one like a year or two ago. Like
Maybe.
I feel like I was flipping and they were on there doing glasses.
I don't watch. I
don't watch it regularly either. But
I'll tell you the last
occasionally
season.
there's nothing on.
The last season of America's Got Talent that I actually watched, like and paid attention to, there was a guy on there named Horse.
Oh, I remember Horse.
And his whole deal,
yeah, I remember
his
Horse.
entire talent was he could get hit in the crotch.
Yep, I remember that.
He could take several sustained
That's back when
strikes to the
Stern
area.
was one of the judges. Yeah, because it was him. I believe that was also the same season that British comedian that dresses up in the Green Dragon outfit, and I think he eats a lot of sandwiches, does his bit. I don't remember. He's a stand-up comic.
Maybe.
And he dresses up like in a cartoon T-Rex green costume with a hoodie.
I think it was that year or
Yeah.
the year before. I don't remember the green hoodie guy, but I do remember, and this was like maybe the year before, Tape Face. Do you remember Tape Face?
I do remember Tape Face.
That dude got a show on the Strip.
Uh-huh.
I was walking down the Strip and I see a sign that just says Tape Face Live. I'm like, why though?
That's what happens. These people end up in Vegas. Because in Vegas, well, this is what happens. See, because they got all them timeshare people trying to hit you up, and they got all these shows. So these are the free shows you get for going to timeshare meetings.
For spending 9.5 hours saying
You get
no.
to see Tape Face. You don't get to see Blue Man Group or Chris Angel or the big shows.
Right.
You get Tape Face, who's like in the back corners of Circus when you walk through the bathrooms and everything, and there's Tape Face's studio. Like I got to go to one of those, and they literally had like a couple roller skating, like doing figure skating moves on roller skates.
Okay.
On a little stage. I had a lady with hula hoops, like contort through hula hoops. It was a freak show. I was entertained, but it was one of those free.
It definitely filled an hour.
But it was one of those free. After I tried to tell my wife, don't stop, she stopped, and we got roped in. And I went through the gauntlet of the timeshare and said no. It was hard. Like there was a Russian mafia dude at the end that I thought was going to break our legs if I said no.
If you said no
one more time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
finally, I mean, he gave me the hairy eyeball, like the spotlight, the whole nine. I was like, no.
Here's your tickets.
And then
Get
finally,
out.
like, fine. And then they literally like, here's your tickets, get out. They literally. But I mean, it was like the one guy came in the room and like, we're good. And like, okay, well, hold on. And then another guy, and then finally the Russian lump dude comes in at the end. But yeah, I had to go through the gauntlet. But that was the payoff. Was that show at the end?
I watched a video where a guy goes through the entire like year and a half long process it took him to get the offer was a free trip to Universal Studios for the timeshare thing. So he goes through it. You know, he gets through the whole thing and like. He records, he has like a hidden camera, he records the entire process, you know, blurring out faces and stuff. But at the end, they ended up giving him like a voucher for something that you then had to call. And then basically it continued even after he left the timeshare thing because they said, well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to put you on the worst plane flying coach at like 3 a.m. You're going to have like 17 layovers. You're going to stay in the worst hotel we can possibly find. They're making it. Or they said, or you could do this. And it was like, first class flight and to go to like, Virginia. He's like, no, I want Universal Studios. And so they finally gave in. And yes, he got to go to Universal Studios, but it was a 1-day pass. And it rained the whole day.
Of course it did.
I was like, oh, that's schadenfreude is what that is.
Point of the story, kids.
Yeah.
Say no when the timeshare
Right.
guy tries to stop you to get you to go to the timeshare.
It's not going to be
say
worth
no.
it.
Just
It's
say
not.
no.
It's just not.
Because if you don't say no then, you're going to have to say no 70, 80 times. And they turn the screws on. Oh, it's like I legit thought, are they going to like threaten us? Like
Right.
at one point I thought like they're going to beat us up in an alley if I don't say yes.
One of the most disappointing phone calls I've ever received in my whole life was Misty called me, and this was like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And she goes, "We got a timeshare." I went, "No!"
They got you.
They managed to get out of it.
Oh, good.
Like, they managed to.
Did they call the guy you hear on the, I'm not a lawyer?
No. They basically, the whole thing was like within 30 days, if you decide, to not, then you renege on any offers that we offered you of like, a trip or a free
Right.
vacation. And then you have to pay like a service fee or something like that. But they managed to get out of it.
Ugh.
And this is literally what happened. It was like the day, it was like a Cabela's thing. Like they signed up for it.
Okay.
So they get signed up for it. The very next day, like when common sense washes over you
right,
a bit,
think this was a bad choice.
they both said, we shouldn't have done that, and
Yeah.
they managed to weasel out of it. But that's
Good.
it's
a nightmare.
Oh, it's horrific.
There's a
what
reason
they
why
do.
there's commercials of companies providing services to get you out of timeshares because
Mhm.
it's that hard to get out of.
Right.
Yeah. Say no, kids. Just say no.
Mhm.
It's hard, but you can do it.
It's not worth your time.
Even when the Russian guy is in your face and about to beat your kids,
Mhm.
say no.
Spend the $25 per ticket and go see Tape Face.
That's right.
Without all the hassle.
I'm pretty sure you could just walk into Tape Face's show if you really
Right.
want to go in there.
Love to see that guy out to dinner. Just takes the tape off, takes a bite, puts it back on.
Right. Well, it's guys like Carrot Top.
Mhm.
Can he go anywhere in Vegas? Because he lives in Vegas. He's a
Yeah.
Vegas guy.
Well, and that's
But he's such a unusual looking dude that
Right.
you can't blend him. He can't blend in.
Who's that incredibly built, curly-headed ginger over there?
Who looks oddly tan for a ginger.
Weirdly juiced to where he's got those elbow flaps that you work out. He works out.
That's what makes him look weird to me. It's not the bigness.
It's the muscles.
Not the muscles.
No?
It's not. It's the man whose hair is as red as can be in its au natural.
Sure.
That has skin that is dark and tan. Most people that have redhead hair like that are very pale and freckly. I don't know if he spray tans or what he does.
What that means is,
but it looks so weird.
He spends a lot less on his tanning because he only has to go the once.
I don't know. I think they got to put 6 or 7 layers because I think if he's a true ginger, his skin is very fair.
You got to imagine at this point it's got to be a dye job.
And if I remember, it's got to be because I seem to remember like back in Young Comedian Special days before Carrot Top was like in Vegas, he was just a skinny, nerdy white dude that was very pasty white with red hair, and now he looks like the Incredible Hulk with a Ronald McDonald wig on. And you're like, what's going on here?
He looks like Red Hulk. Which actually, fun fact, Red Hulk was announced as, I guess, the new reboot of, I think it's Captain America.
Okay.
That they're putting out, I think, next year. Harrison Ford is going to be playing the guy who eventually turns into Red Hulk.
Oh, whatever the Bruce Banner is for Red Hulk.
They got the guy he's playing the president, because of course he is.
Get off my plane.
Get out of my country. But so Red Hulk, look for that for the Captain America movie next year.
All right.
It'll be exciting.
I know that there is a Red Hulk in the lore and all that stuff, but as a guy who just watches Marvel movies, I'm like, what are you, Teletubbies Hulks now? The Rainbow Hulk is next, and then we got Chartreuse Hulk, and
hey, you keep Chartreuse Hulk's name out your mouth, okay? Put some respect on that name.
And like all the Hulks have different, the movie where he sold the soul for the devil and he's got the different personalities. The Brendan Fraser.
Oh, Bewitched.
Bewitched.
Yep.
There's different Hulk. There's like a sensitive Chartreuse Hulk. How do you feel about this?
There's also a brown Hulk.
I do want to smash, but it makes me sad.
There's a brown Hulk too. It always comes after like meatloaf night.
After burrito night is brown Hulk.
Release the brown Hulk.
I know a bunch of nerds are mad at me.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sorry.
You're killing our lore.
We're gonna add to the story. We're gonna make the Hulk red. And we're gonna have a chick Hulk.
I'll be honest, I'm really looking forward to Periwinkle Hulk. It's gonna be a good time. Super blue.
This is Fashion Week Hulk.
Met Gala Hulk.
That's right. Prada Hulk.
Comes out wearing a shirt that just says Green Lives Matter.
Right. Hulk smash with style.
Very tough, very demure.
When I smash, I look good. I look sharp. Armani Hulk.
Demure Hulk.
That's right.
Love it. That's great.
All right. Artist Greg Birch patiently waiting in the other room with a whole bunch of new stuff for us to talk about.
I'd love to
here,
see his take on all the different Hulks.
Maybe you can do a painting.
Standing in a row.
That's right. All the different Hulks in a room. Playing poker. It is 18 minutes after 9. Let's go ahead and take a look at your weather. A kinder, gentler, boring weather. I'll take it.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in the upper 80s for the afternoon high today for Artesia and Carlsbad. A little bit warmer for Roswell. We'll be in the low 90s. Should be sunny all day. Might be a little bit breezy. We have dry air in place. Clear for the overnight hours. Our lows near 60. Low to mid 90s for the afternoon high on Wednesday and sunny. We'll be in the mid 90s on Thursday. Upper 90s by Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 70 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 38%. Winds currently out of the south at 12 miles per hour. Really nothing exciting, just mid to low 90s for the week. We do get a little warmer as the week progresses, but sunny 93 today, south winds 5 to 10. Clear tonight, overnight low of 59 degrees, south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny 93 once again for a high, south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear Wednesday night, overnight low of 62 with south winds 5 to 15. Thursday, sunny, warming up, 96 for a high there. South winds 5 to 10. Friday is our warm day, pushing 100. 99 is what they're saying on Friday. Saturday, back down into 95 for a high under mostly sunny skies. And then Sunday, they did tack on a 20% chance of rain for the afternoon. Sunny and 92, and then 91 on Monday. So got a little heat wave on Friday, I guess you could say, 99-ish. So, all right, it is 9:20. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then Greg Birch will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
What? My trade's got to be worth more than this. Hey, Roswell and surrounding areas. Don't get hit hard by low trade offers. Right now, the all-new Roswell Ford needs your trade. That means you'll get top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease, Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your trade is worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR or no payments till 2025. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand financed on select models. No payments till 2025. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and Fiera 106.1 FM for a live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda. The days are getting cooler and the nights are getting longer, and grilling weather is about to get even better. Roswell Honda has a lot full of great new and pre-owned vehicles that fit your needs and budget. We'll be on hand from 10 to 1 with free hot dogs and ice-cold drinks and your chance to win an all-black 5-burner gas grill with side sear, perfect for grilling season. See you Saturday, 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, artist Greg Birch back with us this morning. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing delightful. How about yourself?
Well, I can't complain, but everybody can.
That's
so
right.
Why bother?
I have a lot to do, but no one want to hear it. So,
well, before we start, this right here is for Sean.
All right.
He kind of made a little comment before, and that I heard before I came in this morning.
Okay.
Just for you, brother.
Man knows how to drink water.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Of course, Greg two-handed his water Sean was making the joke about that earlier in the last hour. So,
no offense, people. Just making a joke.
We can have fun, man. Everyone have. We all.
Just
if you can't laugh at yourself, then what can you laugh at? That's the way I see it.
Hey, and I give people plenty of stuff to laugh at me about.
I do too. On. Trust me. Some days I can't get out of my own way, and I'm just a complete idiot.
Hey, I posted one of my little incidences on Facebook, and I don't recommend people do that. It's not fun.
For folks that aren't aware, Greg is a local artist here, and he's a friend of the show here, and has been actually donated various. If you see the art in the studio, that's all Greg Birch. But when Greg is not, making his living being an artist, he spends a lot of time doing like historical art for museums and various other entities all over the world, not just here in New Mexico, but all over the world. And but granted, you do have a bigger focus on New Mexico stuff because that's where you're at. But
that's my home.
But you do kind of cover the globe here with some of your artwork and in circles, different art circles around the world.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And with different artists that have different genres. Let's put it that way. The Japan style art. I got a couple of friends there that's trying to teach me the techniques. That it's more of a water base.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to get it down because I'm trying to incorporate it.
That's something that I think most people don't think about, especially with artists that painting is their medium.
Yeah.
As much as you're an artist, you're a chemist.
Pretty much.
Kind of like a chef. Because let's face it, chefs are just chemists. You're mixing various ingredients to making a reaction.
This one artist, this Japan artist, he told me, and I'm trying to find some right now here on the state side that's close and similar, because understanding that America is not Japan.
Sure.
So,
I did learn that the other day, yes.
For those that don't know. Anyway, they use what's called a rice cloth.
Okay.
And trying to find it here on the state side. Now, I did find some, but man, this stuff was like $2,500 a yard.
Supply and demand.
Dude, and I'm like, what are y'all using this for?
Right?
But anyway, so I want to try it and see how it works out and see what I can do with it, because I think that I can take it to a whole nother level.
Awesome.
But other than that, I did do a painting. You probably saw it on Facebook for Jeff and them.
Yes.
And his family. And I did tell them that they've got the only known painting in the artist community, because it's never been done, but it's an actual wood stain on canvas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, when he saw it in person, he was just kind of like,
that's pretty cool.
Wow. Because it gives such a texture.
Well, it gives, especially if you're doing a scene with buildings and things, and if you're using actual stain as opposed to a brown paint to replicate that And because that's exactly what the building is.
Right.
It's a stained building. So it's going to look much more like a picture almost than a painting. You know what I mean?
Most paintings are done with layers.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that with stain.
Sure.
Because stain is such a flat finish that
Sure.
once it goes down, well, it's kind of like a urethane.
Sure. Well, and that's why it's porous and absorbing, because at the end of the day, stain is its main job. Same with paint, by the way, is to protect. You know, the beauty part's is the ancillary side of it.
Man, look at us being chemists. Now that's cool. That's cool, right there.
But its job is to protect it.
Yes, sir.
But that's so cool that. But that's the part of that chemist is because you get, you know, wherever your canvas is, whether it's an actual canvas or the side of a building or whatever it is, you've got to have the right material for your art to stand the test of time. If you're doing like street art and you're out painting sidewalks and painting walls, and if you use the wrong kind of paint, that's a wonderful painting till it rains and then it's gone. You know what I mean? And then so you got to use the right, or maybe it doesn't adhere to concrete like it does to canvas. So you got to do a different style of paint that, or mix it so it's going to stick to that concrete better than, you know, you don't think so much about the functional side of art, but that's just as much the battle as it is, what do I want to paint?
Exactly.
You know?
And Carlon can only say so much.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know,
and so that's where you spend, you spend your evenings creating pictures, but in between you're trying to find the new combination of pushing the envelope in art. What mediums, what paint on what different ways. It's kind of like when I had Peter De La Fuente on the show, and their family, they specialize in the egg wash and that style, which is a very historic way of painting. Not a lot of artists still use the egg wash thing, and so that's kind of his niche. But that's the kind of stuff Greg, he's going into these genres and saying, okay, these people are painting with, I don't know, charcoal. I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate that into my art. And
exactly. And it's in the art community, art has always been, and I'm talking about the masters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking Leonardo da Vinci to Van Gogh, to Klaus on down. And it's like, even whenever he touched paintings, it's, even then I think that they done like, they was experimenting without experimenting.
I get what you're saying.
They did not know what they was actually doing.
They had an idea, but they're like, wouldn't it be cool if this works? Let's try it and see what happens.
Because they refused, because back then it was go to these big-time colleges where everybody's going and learn by these people.
Mm-hmm.
And they went against the law saying, why should paint dictate what we do?
Makes sense.
Why shouldn't we dictate what the paint should do? And so that's the standard that I try to do.
Yeah, makes sense. But that's where
that's what I try to pull off on some of these.
But that's and this kind of in a nutshell when we talk about artists. Like, yes, your famous artist or your well-known artist, they may have had the formal training to learn, but they all break the rules to push the envelope to the next thing. You got to. It's music's the same way. I believe you got to understand how structure and music works and know notes and all that. But once you know all that, then you can break the rules.
Then you can experiment
and with
play.
it. And art is very much that same way. Yes, you got to know the techniques. You got to know the mediums. You got to know the basics. Oil and water don't mix. You got to find the way to those are the things you got.
But I found it.
But exactly. But all right. But once you find it, you find the way to mix. And that's you learn the rules. You learn the techniques. Same thing with math. You learn the formulas. You learn the things, and then you learn how to apply it to push the envelope. It's no different in art and everything else too.
And the oil and water. Now I'm just waiting for that trademark to come through. But I've got the painting. Mix. Then I can do something with the painting. But until that trademark comes in, that they actually register it for me. Then I can start giving out the process of how I found oil and water can mix.
Till then, it's a closely guarded secret till you can get some monetization situation on this.
And by all means, I flunked science in high school, dude.
But that's science, and really at the end, yes, I mean, because it's dangerous in the fact if you don't know what chemicals can do and then you mix them, that's dangerous. But if you kind of know and you're just like, let's see what happens, that's the science part. That is, and to be honest, That's what your scientists, they're doing the same thing. They're just doing chronically amounts of documentation and data to verify and compare and contrast the results to the other thing they did.
Truth.
But that's what they're doing. When they're trying to find a cure for cancer, they're basically trying different things on different things and seeing what kind of results they're getting.
Yeah.
And if you get a good result, then all right, let's make a note of that. If bad result, all right, let's steer away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I'm a fond believer. Sometimes you got to break a few eggs to make the omelet.
That's just the truth, and especially when you're in a creative world, when you're trying to do. Because let's face it, paint's been around a long time, thousands of years, and thousands of years of human history have been painting. How do you do the next thing?
And I don't even think we've touched the cusp.
Yeah,
the cusp.
But how do you do the next thing? How do you get to the next? How do you and that's the beauty of it. And so that's in a nutshell. It's kind of that's art. That's the life of art, and that's your world.
The beauty of it.
Yeah, that's your world. Is what that's what at 3 a.m. That's why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean?
And you're like, dude, go to sleep. Shut up already.
I get it. So tell us about this latest painting here.
This one here is going to be in.
It looks way better in person than it does online. I did see this one online, and so this is the first time I looked at it up close, and it is a very cool painting.
And this one here is it depicts Paulita Maxwell of what she said, the accounts of the night, of how bright the moon was. Boy, I mean, it was almost like daylight.
Well, it almost has a ghostly look to it,
And what she didn't understand, and what I don't think a lot of people understood, you can see up there in the corner how bright the moon is.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. There's this thing that we learned over a period of time that's called light refracts.
Okay.
Okay, just like in this room, these microphones. You have a refraction, which means that light displaces itself. Okay?
Hence, like you look at a mic and you see the glare and like the shadows, but the light's hitting it different, so you got to reflect it that way. And so you're basically trying to recreate all that in the art itself.
Exactly.
It's all got to jive, and this is where you have to get art right, because if you're trying to reflect a moon from this angle, but then your shadows don't jive, or the light reflection doesn't jive, then it's suddenly that goes from professional to amateur. Look at this amateur. The sun's up here, but the shadow's going the other way. That don't make sense.
And this is where Van Gogh painting Starry Night. Most artists just did not know this about him, but the truth be known, he hated that painting so much, but there was so much truth in that painting, because at this point he was in that asylum when he painted it. But he painted refraction that we know refraction today, just off of that simple study. Because at night, light refracts different than it does in the day. That's why he said, without knowing why he said what he said, that you can see better at nighttime than you can during the daytime. I guess you can say that's why I'm painting at 2 and 3 in the morning.
Right.
And you're like, dude, the chickens haven't even crowed. But anyway, because the light just hits the canvas different.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I don't have the sunshine that night at nighttime like I do during the day. So what she didn't know when she gave the statement during her interview was that we was going to have this thing called history that was going to tell the truth. And the truth is that this porch had an overhang.
Okay.
So she didn't take into account. Now, the first thing, whenever the historical account of it took place, she didn't say, like everybody stated, oh, Billy escaped because he had such a love affair for this woman and he went to Fort Sumner. There's things in history that was left out, and it's called the truth. And they're trying to decipher from what that truth is right here. Because this is within 97% of how she says that night looked.
Okay.
There is no way to her account. Plus, she doesn't even give an account of saying, of somebody that you say is in love with somebody.
Sure.
the very first thing that came out of her mouth was, it was a full lit moon night. So clear that it was like day.
Yeah.
Okay, but she didn't say that she burst into tears because...
Yeah, if someone's in love or, they're not going to notice the night.
I mean, it sounds so cold-hearted.
Yeah.
The thing you remember is...
Sure.
The night?
Mm-hmm.
I know people today...
I'm not saying they remember it, but that wouldn't be the first thing out their mouth.
Yeah.
That might be detail 7.
Exactly, not the first thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, to go on with it, she didn't, I think, know that history would catch up. Who would in the 1800s?
Absolutely. They're not thinking of that. And
I mean, back in the 1800s, it was lucky to scrape a living.
Sure.
People don't understand that money was scarce and time was plentiful.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot going on in between. And the history behind it is that most of the history that we do know that happened back then was, man, there was no meat on the bone. It was dry. It was like eating a piece of leather.
Sure.
Days were just ran in together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, and of course, at the times, and this is where I really got a good glimpse of, and this is why I've been recommending people watch that Netflix thing on Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War. That's a great series on there as far as portraying the OK Corral and the big scope of the world here. And that, but it's the kind of that same mindset is a lot of the stuff we're hearing is because, these authors, these writers of these dime novels and things that the especially back east, they were in love and enthralled with the American West. This was the Wild West, the freedom. These people are stuck in cities and and they're reading these accounts of these cowboys riding the plains and doing, so there was a romantic notion of everything that went on out west to the big scope of the world here. And so that's why Billy the Kid and Wyatt Earp and these people are still legends 100 plus years later. And but unfortunately, a lot of the stories, a lot of the stuff was embellished because they were more trying to sell a story that the papers would pick up that would create a buzz. They weren't necessarily going for factual history and the accuracy of these things. And that's why guys like Billy the Kid and Wyatt Earp, though some of their exploits were probably true to some of what we're talking about, it's been embellished a little bit and romanticized a little bit.
And see, and one of the deals that I just barely found, and I'm going to present this to my art community people that I'm in cahoots with.
Uh-huh.
Let's put it that way. I found this article, okay, and Pat Garrett at the time is supposed to be hunting Billy the Kid. And the town, Lincoln County, is in an uproar and saying, you ought to be out there looking for him. My true opinion is that I really think that Pat was wanting the kid to just get out of here.
Right, just go away and stop being a problem.
Because he stated in his own words that if it ever came to a gunfight, that Billy would take him. And there was an article all the way over in New Orleans.
Okay.
During this time, New Orleans,
which is a million miles away in that world back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had an article that was published, and it stated that Billy the Kid, was this two-handed gunslinger, all of this stuff like dime store novels would do.
Mm-hmm.
But in the newspaper article itself, it states Billy the Kid has been seen in Fort Sumner before it was even printed.
Interesting.
In New Mexico.
Interesting.
How did this happen?
Yeah, that is a bit head-scratching, huh? Like somebody knew something about something.
Because there again, in history, you can't have both.
And I would imagine to the people that are probably the Bushy Bill people, probably saying this is the setup for the faking of Billy the Kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm saying, that people have to understand where the telegraph wire was introduced.
Well, how factual was it out there, and how much of it was just people said some things and it spread and got it's the internet of the modern. You know, how many times you get on internet, and if you believe everything on the internet, Donald Trump eats your kids. Kamala Harris does. You know, she's got a frozen body in the. I mean, that's what you would believe, and to be honest, it's a little bit of that going on.
Exactly.
You know?
And see, and that's what we know about Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Okay, Wyatt Earp went Hollywood. That's what he did.
Sure. To be honest, the way the documentary kind of portrays it, I would almost say it's to kind of reestablish his reputation, because after the all went down, half this country still looked at him as a murderer, as a vigilante, over the top.
Well, if the truth be known, though, what we know in history is they asked him the first time where the actual event took place. Wyatt Earp gives the wrong map.
Oh, really?
He draws a map of it. We've got both of them. He comes back later, draws another map of where it actually happened, which was the whole street over. And on part of this, I'd have to say that there is a couple of historians that was in this documentary that they're kind of sad because some truth facts was left out of it. And, and you have to understand, and no offense to like the Dallas Cowboy fans, but what puts butts in seats?
Right.
I mean, you've still got Hollywood, and Hollywood is going to make you still eat your popcorn and stay involved in it. Otherwise, if it's dry and cut, like most of this stuff, you're like, man, let's change the furniture. Let's repaint the wall.
Sure. And that's kind of where Wyatt Earp, because he was in Hollywood as an advisor or whatever, right around the time these Westerns came out. And basically,
with John Wayne.
And so he got to tell his side of the story through Hollywood.
And if the truth be known on that, Virgil, he's the guy back then that people should look back in history, because he was the toughest nails.
He was actually the Morgan and Wyatt were his underling. Virgil was the town marshal, basically.
Yeah, to me, Wyatt was more of the stand back, because a lot of his stories, when he told them, they were more Hollywoodish, and they really portrayed what was going on in Lincoln County.
Sure. Well, and from what accounts of the Earps, he was the least talkative. He was not the orator of the group. Morgan or Virgil were much better orators than Wyatt Earp was. And matter of fact,
Virgil came at you now.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, like when the Earps are on trial for the murder at the OK Corral, there's a time where Wyatt takes the stand and he reads a statement, and it didn't. I mean, I guess it did what it needed to do, but it wasn't nearly the emotional shift that everyone thought it was going to be. Because Wyatt Earp is not an orator. He's not a guy that, you speak in public. That's not his thing.
Right.
But another thing I learned about him was that, prior to the OK Corral, he wasn't the guy to pull the gun.
No.
He would. Now, if he pulled the gun, it's to buffalo you.
Exactly.
He will punch you. He will hit you, but rarely did he shoot you. He'll beat the snotty and throw you in jail to sober up. But the gun, the OK Corral was kind of that. When that went down in the two versions, like the Clantons and the Cowboys version, and the Earps version of that, and then the vendetta ride that goes on afterwards, and he goes on all the killing and all that stuff.
What we know about Doc Holliday is that he did, which is leading me into a new segue here. Doc Holliday, he did own a saloon there in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Okay.
The people there have generously asked me that they're going to give me a private tour to go underground of things that people haven't seen. They showed me an old hat they found down there.
Nice. The Earps did spend some time in New Mexico and Albuquerque and all that too.
They did.
Yeah. They're known for Dodge in Arizona, Tombstone. But
what everybody has forgotten is that 34th parallel during this period of time here in New Mexico and Arizona was still New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and were considered New Mexico.
Yeah.
So Arizona, when you say that they went into Tombstone, that would have been Tombstone, New Mexico.
Yeah, at the time, the territory.
I mean, because that's just how it was. So it kind of like goes into parallel today. That Santa Fe ring that was here during Billy's time is still here today. It has never died.
No.
Never went away.
No. Why do you think this state's screwed up?
If Lincoln, New Mexico, was as big today as it was back then, well, I'm just saying that voting would be totally different.
Oh yeah, things are. Yeah, I tell people every time, go to Lincoln. Read
Not
the
to get
things.
on politics,
You know, but if you understand why New Mexico is New Mexico, please spend the weekend in Lincoln. Go read everything, all the signs at the courthouse, at the visitor center, and all the different places, and you'll get a clear picture why New Mexico is the hot mess that New Mexico is.
And I've got a painting that I'm working on, the old train station there in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Oh, cool.
There again, it's a historical painting. There again, I want to mention to the public, I am not raising Billy from the dead. I'm not doing that. I am representing the places, times, and events that people dictated that this is what it was. Paulita, I am a historian, and me and my other historian friends, we go back and forth on these subjects.
Yeah.
I don't believe her story. I never have believed her story and never will believe her story.
Well, and that's the beauty of it. And what you do is, 'cause like you said, these are buildings, portraits, things that we've basically lost to time. You know, time marches on, the buildings fall apart or replaced or whatever. And so you go through letters, through eyewitness accounts, through everything, and you recreate these different things and all over the state of New Mexico. And that's kind of like this train station in Las Vegas. That's kind of, is that going to a museum there in Vegas at some point?
The old train station museum.
Excellent.
Actually, I'll go to town hall because they're going to put that last painting and this new painting both on record, which is what they want to do in La Mesilla too, old La Mesilla. That way it's on record document. That way if anybody ever goes back in time to any of the meetings, it's going to show that Greg Birch, Roswell, New Mexico, artist, donated these paintings.
How cool is that?
And they hang there forever for the world to see.
Awesome. So
now,
if you're in Vegas, come
one
visit.
last thing.
Yes.
Look again as I show this to you.
Okay.
And supposedly that night, Billy will have to come up that main step. Now, the side of the beef that they say is hanging is just down this walkway, which I'm showing you front view.
Okay.
He would have walked down this way and went into Pete Maxwell's room on the side. And the beef was hanging there.
Okay.
In July, on degree days like we have today.
Yeah, that's not a good place to hang beef.
Tell me the beef wouldn't have been rotten.
It would have been very rotten.
Every varmint in the county wouldn't have been there chewing.
It would have been, loaded with stink and flies and everything else.
But the big thing is, tell me that you can make out who's coming up that porch.
I can't. There's no way.
Not even in that light.
To be honest, it took me a minute to realize it's a male. I thought initially it was like a female. And then I started looking at the jeans and I was like, oh no, that's a dude. But I kind of thought it was a woman at first, But you can't tell. That could be Billy. That could be some random stranger. Could be a ghost.
And here's the other deal, and I know that we're running out of time, but just so people know that this will be at Fort Sumner on Thursday. If you have the chance to get out, come out.
Come out and check it out, yeah.
Take a picture.
Maybe you need an excuse to go visit Fort Sumner if you've never been before. Go see that side of history.
They're going to line the hall with my paintings that I've donated. There's a room that's off on the backside of the Chamber of Commerce. They're reinventing the whole thing, and it actually looks like Pete Maxwell's room. The night they're putting the authentic furniture in.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of recreating a visual here.
They're thinking about using
your painting as
this painting as a wrap of that night.
Oh, okay.
The night scene.
Oh, nice.
That gives you, as you walk into that room,
kind of put you in the minute.
Scene.
Yeah, kind of put you in that feeling. That's pretty cool.
So the other part of this deal is that for the historical value of this is when Paulita is talking about the clarity of the night, I know you're out of time.
Oh, we're good. We got a couple minutes.
Anyway, when she gives the clarity of this night, and then they say that they bring in the lantern of this. Well, to backtrack just a little bit, when Billy comes up that porch, now this room, that window that's on that front side there, that's still Pete Maxwell's room.
Okay.
Okay. My question is, with other historians that we have debated, that we've came down to, that they're starting to shift to my side with, Pat Garrett says that And through history, through the oracles, people believe that they rode together and that they was friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If this truth be known, then why is he sitting there in the bed and Billy is as close as he is? He has to ask, and Pete whispers in Pat's ear, that's him.
Yeah, you think you know him if they were friends.
I'm just putting that out there for a
Unless
friend.
Billy's in some weird disguise we don't know about. But yeah, that does not bode well.
So my take
goes
is
against that.
this. Pat Garrett was a lawman. He loved the law as much as I love doing art.
Sure.
We knew that this was his passion. This is what he loved to do. He was also, I come to find out that I have posted online, he was a practicing Mason. The two kind of went hand in hand. His cover was more towards trying to get forgiveness from his brotherhood of the Masons. Because to me, that night was nothing more than a coup d'etat. This was the only way he had to cross the law to get Billy.
Gotcha.
And this is why this whole thing is jive, and it's been popularized, loverized.
Yeah.
And it's nothing more than just a dead bone. It's dry. It's not, don't put anybody in the seats to sit there and say, I want to go watch this in the movie theater.
Right.
It was a setup. Pat knew that he had to cross the line. He did, and that's why after the event, his life went down the drain. He started drinking, losing all of his money because he lost the passion that he loved because he had to cross the line.
Sold his soul, basically.
There you go. Pretty much.
Yeah, that makes sense. That jives. But it does make you wonder, they probably were aware of each other because they're small towns and everybody knows everybody, but other than aware of each other, did they really know each other?
Well, there again, people are wanting Billy to have so many pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, but there just wasn't.
Yeah.
One, he was an outlaw, y'all.
Yeah.
He didn't stop and take time.
He wasn't out being notoriety and be public.
I'm just putting it out there.
He's trying to lay low.
I'm just putting it out there. Take it how you want to. He didn't have a Ford Bronco.
Right.
A white Ford Bronco. He wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't have that.
Sure. And let's face it, he had his stump. I mean, you look in history, you see the places like the Fox Cave.
Yeah.
Guys that are looking for public don't have a bunch of hideouts. Just saying, looking for public scrutiny,
Exactly.
public thing.
If he's riding away from the law, what did they do today?
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
2/3 of them are just stupid idiots, and they're racing their cars downtown, and then all of a sudden they hit a brick wall.
Ash Uptons and people like that are the ones that made him famous. These are, these are the ones
glamorized.
Which, by the way, I highly recommend John LeMay over at the Historical Society. He's got a book he's written about Ash Upton, and to be honest, he's much more prolific than people realize in his chronicling and of the whole Lincoln County War, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, and
I also have debated with historians on that too, because they always sit there and the first thing they come up with is Ash Upton was using his own birth date. Okay, how many world famous people do I have the same birth date with?
Yeah.
How many do you have?
Yeah, I know at least a couple.
And that's
Al
what I'm saying.
Pacino's one of mine. Yeah, but
just because the birth date has to be the same.
Yeah.
But do I think that Ash Upton put some things out there that was over glamorized?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But
you got people here.
But yeah, I got an interview at 10.
Snap.
But at the same time, it's a man trying to make a living. I mean, that's
true.
He's an author. He's trying to get his books out to the world. And let's face it, at that time, Wild West history selling. You get
Dime
that.
store novels.
People are eating it up back east, and Ash probably had a very lucrative career doing what he did as a printer.
And he knew more about Billy because, John W. Poe, he stated he never even met Billy. He didn't know what to look for. He never even met the guy.
Yeah.
He knew him as much as me and you knew what to look
exactly.
for.
They probably, but it's all name, all reputation.
There you go.
Exactly. So, if anybody wants to ask or have Greg do some work for them, that's very easy to do. Just look for Greg Birch on Facebook. And Greg, you do commission work for families and individuals. if you're looking, whatever, you can do all that too. That's how he makes his day job, his living here, and that allows him to work on these historical pieces and stuff
yes,
like
sir.
that. Where end up his donations.
Facebook or Instagram?
Yep. Oh, Instagram as well. Look for Greg Birch on Instagram.
40.
I'm not an Instagrammer, but it's because I'm just not smart enough.
All that's on there is just my art. None of my stupid comments or me.
You got to reserve that for Facebook.
Right.
Good deal. Well, thank you as always, Greg.
Thank you, man.
And we'll see you next time. All right.
You
And
betcha.
have a great weekend, and hope you find some cool inspirations over time to
Hey, brother,
pick
I'll
your
be
next project.
posting these on Thursday. Take
Excellent.
a look for them.
Be on the
Thank
lookout.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
As always, anytime. 9:57. Let's pause for a quick break and news update. Don't go away.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Park officials at Carlsbad Caverns National Park are reminding visitors that absolutely nothing but plain water is allowed inside the caverns after a long-dropped Cheetos bag was discovered in the cavern's big room. Rangers say the bag had a huge impact on the ecosystem of the area around it, causing mold and fungus to begin spreading very quickly. The Rangers were able to carefully remove as much of the mold and foreign debris as possible. The big room at Carlsbad Caverns National Park is the largest single cave chamber by volume in North America. The New Mexico Department of Game and Fish is reminding all of us to be aware of slow-moving turtles on the road. The department says desert box turtles can be found coming out of hibernation and becoming more active during the rainy conditions. They say the turtles cross the road looking for new habitats and nest-building opportunities. The department says if you see one on the road, maybe stop and help it get to the other side. They're also reminding folks not to take them home. It's illegal to collect and sell wild turtles. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico for 2023? It's simple. Great selection, great savings, and great people. Right now, the lot is loaded with all new Hyundai models, including Elantras, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. And with 0% on select new, 5-year warranty, and 3 years free oil changes on all 2024 models in stock, now's the time to trade up and save big. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the all-new and used car supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. The LX series is part of the #1 selling compact tractor lineup in the U.S., built with premium features and the comfort and versatility to make your land your own. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 84 months, or save up to $2,300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, Amigo Machinery at 2801 Southeast Main Street in Roswell.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John